Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Momo babe. Box. Paris. Wisteria. Hi everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? My mic has been giving me issues. Open lobbies today too, by the way. For anyone who celebrates an open lobby. Give me 1 second. Taking a call and then I'll be live. All right. Um you can hear me perfect. Oh, that's incredible. Awesome. Oh, where did my camera go? That was me setting up my stream. Hey, there we go. Not that was so embarrassing. That was me fixing my camera earlier. Hi Momo. Hi Ash. Welcome in, guys. Okay, who's gonna play open lobbies with me? Be honest. I'm sorry I didn't stream yesterday. Please forgive me. Needed some much needed quality time with Bay. So spend some time in watching movies and stuff. Hi Ryan, welcome in. Are you gonna be playing with me today? Please say yes. Ash, are you working today? Welcome in, welcome in. Also get your check-ins. Everyone. Also, guys, the shirt is a double XL or an XL. It's huge on me. Huge. Allie, 37 check-ins. Holy what Ryan, you're almost at 30. Ryan, you're almost at 30 check-ins. Isn't that crazy? I am. No, it's okay. We're here with you in spirit. We'll give you the he's and ha-has, you know? That's why you're here. How was everybody's weekends? I had work all weekend. I opened today and I pretty much closed. Um that's how I feel. Yeah, I pretty much closed today. It was a long day, but I owed you guys a stream. I owed myself a stream. Let's be honest. I love it here. I love hanging out with you guys. Um Hair's fluffy today. Fresh from a shower, freshly washed. It snowed today. It has been so cold here. But we're expecting the temperature to increase in the next few days. Honestly, real. Now, who's ready for open lobbies though? Can I get a one in chat for open lobbies? Hammy, I'm new here. Oh, well, Hammy, welcome, welcome. Here is complimentary lemonade. We have lemonade at the door. You also get a plush of Cyndaquil or Umbreon, your choice. Honestly, that's a good idea. Wait, maybe I should have teams similar to like Pokemon Go. Would you guys be into that? Team Cyndaquil, Team Umbreon. I think that would be cool. It was 80 yesterday. Oh my god! Please be careful out there when the weather's like up and down. Um, one but can't join. Rosa, say psych right now. Oh, Momo's here. Gotta go, girl. Dude, Momo. Momo got an op in every corner. An op in every corner. Oh god, Hammy just follows me because Momo be starting. Momo always takes the little pebble and goes. Precious baby sleeping right now. Ah, fine. I guess anything for the baby. Not too much, Justin. Momo. It's too easy. Messy Momo. The M is for messy. That's what you said in stream, friend. I'm just repeating it back. Hammy, how are you? Welcome in. Okay, what was a highlight from everyone's weekend? What were we up to this weekend? Yeah, Ali. Pull one, but can't join? Teasing me. Goonie for Momo. Okay. Should I add that tag? Just for the culture? Can I abuse my power like one good time? I think every mod gets a pass once a month. So this is your one time in April. Is it worth it right now? Is it worth it right now, Ryan? Also, guys, Ryan's second day here. Everyone be nice to Ryan. But we needed a more regular mod because my tiny fingies, I can't be typing and looping at the same time. It just I'm not good at that. And we need Ryan here. And I mean, Ryan is also here against his will, but it's okay. We've already established that it's consensual. So it is against his will, but like, for the fantasy. Save me. It's for the fantasy. He has me locked in the basement, chained to the ground. Just said, "Hey, mod, now," and you're not allowed to leave. No, yeah, Ryan, the W mod. Thank you for all the shouties. Everyone, get your check-ins. Use it on Momo. I think that's the only time Ryan will use that. But honestly, all mods get one freebie, one pass. More than I talk to my man, I fear. Well, Hammy, that's so real. That's so real. It's okay. Sometimes they're just things your man won't understand. One free pass to your OnlyFans. Oh, now Vox, not too much. We don't need rumors spreading. But how's everyone's day going? Momo is my man at this point. It's Momo and your man. You have two mans. You know what I mean? Drop yours. Don't be shy. Ha! Okay, Momo. You see that? You see that? Now, Vox, the tables have turned. Okay, I think I'm gonna play one match alone and then open up the lobbies. Your boy's a little rusty. Also, for all my controller players, what is your controller? What are your binds? Because I get sick and tired of trying to use my item on some like okay, hear me out. If I have a med kit, why is the default to heal myself when I'm trying to heal a bestie? You know what I mean? How do I change that in the controller keybinds? Got me twirling my knuckle hairs. Sign those divorce papers. I know, yeah, yeah. Ryan's doing an incredible job. Senora Rosa. Senora Rosa? Oh, I don't know. I refuse to change the keybinds at this point. I just need to fix it. Well, you also play. Do you play on controller even when you're playing on your PC? No, right? You play keyboard mouse. I'm a controller baddie and change my keybinds, but not for healing my kit one. Fuck! So then how do I? So then what do I? So then how can I? So then where do I? Oh, are you all controller? Look, I don't want to talk about it. I haven't graduated to keyboard mouse. I don't know, baby. I don't play on console. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm just a noob. I'm just a noob who plays on controller and on console. All right. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I know. I'm ashamed of it too. We still love you. Do you really? Okay, wait. Let's figure this. Let's figure this out. What do I want this spine to be? Should I just make it triangle? I have nothing for triangle. Use item, but like, what about use item on self? Is that secondary action? Is that an interaction? No, it's not an interaction. Wish I could help, but I know, I know. The world needs Nintendo Switch survivors. Honestly, you need a Nintendo Switch player to help you out in your lobby sometimes, and I know that from first-hand experience. Um, let's see. Guys, last stream we P100'd. P100'd. I'm just making up words, guys. Call me Merriam-Webster. Just making up words. We're gonna play a Survivor match. Okay, vocabulary. It's like. Anyway, we're gonna run her today in celebration, but we're also gonna juice up our V. V is gonna be next on our list for P100. I fear, but I mean, I think that's worthy. She's worthy of it. You know what I mean? Also, how do we feel about my camera placement? Like, I kind of don't like that you can't see a lot. Oh, I'm dragging something I'm not supposed to. Dragging a million things that I'm not supposed to be touching. That's not it. What if I'm here? And what if I'm really small? Does it matter to you guys that I'm small? And what if I was tiny? I do wish I could flip. I think I like it on that side because I can't flip my camera. Yeah, I don't think I like being on this corner low key. I would, if I could flip my camera low key, I would love to be on that side. I think I'm just gonna make myself really high up in the sky. There, how's that? Okay, Thumbelina, like he was a fairy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I want to make this small. I mean, I need to create a command for the songs. Is it Open Q Day? Yes, it is. We love Short Kings. Yeah, like I'm just gonna be teeny. Is that so bad? No. I'm so tiny up here. Hello. Yes, it is gonna be open lobbies. I'm gonna run one solo to warm up because I haven't played in like 4 days, 3 days, whatever it was. So I'm gonna warm up and then we're gonna open up lobbies. I think we're gonna run Unbreakable Conviction today for the memes. Where's now? Where it at? Life and what else should we put? Should we put on Do No Harm? Should we put on? Should we keep Resilience? Maybe we do keep Resilience. I don't think we need Resilience. I think Do No Harm is more effective. Because we only have Resilience. It's like Resilience doesn't. Circle of. What are we talking about here, buddy? No, don't leave! It took us so long to find 2 people. Oh, now you're scaring away the survivors. I know, they're just... They're not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. Join? Okay, Box, we're gonna get you in. Ria! I'll be ready for next. Yeah. Vox, will you carry me? Be honest. Momo, are you gonna come play? Ria, can you join my lobbies, please? Come play with me, please. How you doing, Ria? How are you, Ria? How was your weekend? Deny. Thank you for the lurk, Cammy. Hopefully we can get some games in today. We do have open lobbies. But thank you for coming in. Don't forget your goodie bag for your first time. You get a goodie bag. I just woke up from a really long nap. Okay, we love a long nap. Also, guys, we added so many new sound alerts. All the sound alerts have been renamed. Really exciting stuff here on stream. Really exciting. We'll keep you tabbed up. I appreciate that so much, Hammy. What I needed today was a nap, but instead I got some Taco Bell, and then I came home.
Hey. How y'all doing?
Oh, honey, I was in tears almost. And it has a white refrigerator. I was like, oh, not a white refrigerator. Girl, please put your shoes on. Let's go to your home, honey.
Okay, so real talk, Momo. I tried to connect the daily check-in to that sound alert, and it did not work last stream. So I have to figure out how to make that trigger happen. Let's go get you a home, honey. No, literally, yeah. Well. Oh, I wasn't close enough, guys. I wasn't close enough. She put a helmet on me. Okay, wait. Wait, gotta lock in. Guys, we're playing Dead by Daylight. Like, I can't just be silly goofy. Oh, not the wig. Like, snatch. Look at this. On top of my hat and everything. Okay. Don't worry, guys. Just 1-800 milk that hook, okay? You can leave me here. I'm fine. I'm safe, actually. I'm actually safer on the hook. Leon. Now, Leon. Please. Okay. Guys, is it how many? Okay, can we get a prediction on how many tries it's gonna take me to get this off my head? Can we get a prediction? Because it's taken me a long time in the past. You ever do comms with Momo and the girls? Oh yeah, of course. I'll definitely have my server open. People can rotate in and out. If we're doing open lobbies, sometimes first try, guys. I'm better. Guys. Oh, no, it's okay. It's too late, right? I got it off on the first try. But that's a good prediction idea. Let's fucking go. Honestly, I've had such bad luck with these helmets. Yeah, but we can totally go into my server voice channel, and people can rotate into there if they want to do comms. For open lobbies, usually I don't really do that if people are rotating. But yeah, I will totally be in there if people want to do comms. I have no problem with that. I actually really like comms, but not in the way that comms actually work. It's more like I just like to chat and yap with my friends, you know? And who doesn't like that? Let's fucking go. Like, literally, such bad luck with the helmets. No, girl, don't come over here. Stay over there by Shaq. I promise, there's nothing to see here. But I'm not gonna see her. Yeah. Oh. I will pre-drop, girl. I have no problem pre-dropping, girl. I will pre-drop. Try me. I lost her. That scared me. Oh, that scared me. Why'd she leave me? That scared the shit out of me. I knew I lost her too. Hi, Matt. Oi, oi. Oi, oi, Savaloy. Did I say that right? What does that mean? A mind of a master or whatever. Literally. I just be pressing button. What does this button do? That scared the shit out of me. Yeah, accent was slightly off the right. Okay. Don't piss me off, man. Okay. That's basement. I saw my plaything over there. I think it was. I'm scared. That definitely wasn't me. Okay, she's over there. She's over there. I'm gonna work on this. How you doing, Matt? Matt, how you been? How was your weekend? Dude, okay, am I in your cult yet? Or do I have to be in your chat? Do I have to be active in chat?
Okay.
Exactly, Momo. Exactly. Because I can't see. You have to be in chat. Okay, I'm usually in your chat just like lurking. But I should just be active in there so I can be in your cult. I think I want to play that game on stream. I think that game would be so much fun, yeah. I'm scared, guys. Oh, ripped! Just yoinked. Where? God. I made a mistake. By the way, my name in the lobby might be Crazy Girl Gone. Okay, good. I have a new... I will let you know, or I have a new follower. Oh! Oh, that was not good! Don't pick me up, don't pick me up! Slug me! Slug me, slug me! No! Oh, I'm so bad at the game, guys. Give me a helmet. Oh, homeboy is dead. Guys, we have another helmet on. I'm scared. You're not bad, bestie. Her gaming chair is just insane. Dude, my gaming chair is broken. No. Leon, please. Yeah, let Cheryl take the hook. Why? Just come over here. Please. She can afford it. We're about to die. Leon, please, Leon. Keep running, Leon. She's right behind you. Oh my god, he has a helmet on. Look at her. What a freak. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take her away. Oh, fucking A, bro. Oh, that's game for it. Dying for it. She gets undetectable when I'm in. Is that Yeah. When she's in lust, right? When she has bloodlust. Ooh, I'm scared. Mommy. Don't clip that. I want to give this game a go. I haven't played it yet. Dude, Matt, you should totally play. Okay. Nothing can make me hate this game. I used to really not like to play this game at all. And now I can't stop playing it. Like, I think it's some of the most fun I've had in a while playing games. Like that moment right there. Girls are really good. And be honey badger. No, the important thing is you died with your party hat on. Yeah, I was there to party, you know? And the party was over for me. Okay, we're opening lobbies. Vox for actually, let's get into my VC. For whoever wants to calm. I'll just be in there.
Not even in death.
Momo! Yes! All the friends! I want to play with everybody today. I would jump on now, but I gotta sleep. Yeah, man. No. I have a lot. There are a lot of, not a lot, but I have a lot of EU friends on Twitch, and the schedule never schedules right. But I'm so happy you're here. At least we can end your day with you. You could vibe out here for a game or two, and watch us scramble to survive, or listen to us giggle. Allie's milk jug. Let's go. Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna do. I'm in my VC. My milk jugs. Allie, your milk jugs are here. I'm in my VC, and we'll rotate in and out, and we'll do two matches. Screaming. Oh yes, hi Ria. Ria's blessing us. Mi frijolita. Yeah, Matt, get in here. Get in the Discord.
Girl, she's not rotating. Okay, I'm just.
Hi, Vox.
Hey, baby.
Okay, Arilla Roses and Fung.
We're about to get tunneled out.
No, never that. Never. You just have to slay. Ria, my juiciest of Jugspopia. Guys, I learned how to read. Thank you, Allie.
I'll put some cake in.
Bring cake. I don't have any offerings. I think I'm bringing petrified wood. I don't have anything.
I can Venmo you some offerings.
Yeah, I wish. So proud of you, Justin, reading his heart. I know. You know, that public education. Hi, Jam. What's up? How are you? Jam, we're doing open lobbies. Hi, Momo.
Oh, hi, Momo. Oh, girl, she said fuck.
She said fuck your drag.
Yeah, she did.
Can't jump in literally. No, no, it's fine. I just meant to watch and hang out and chat, but no, I feel you. Have a good night, dude. I'm doing well. How are you? You know what? Your boy is tired. I'm really. How's the open lobbies? This will be our first. You'll see it live in the studio today. That she doesn't. Yeah, Mo, but not these guys.
Hi, cuties.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey.
My sound might be a little crunchy. Forgive me.
It's okay. We love crunch. We love crunch around these parts. Have you heard my stream? It's crunch.
Well, no.
Well, no. Well, not that. Not this. The light is really bright on my face.
Oh, maybe
I have
the
to move my light.
are all together.
Alright, guys. This is it. This is the one. Hi, Monte. Monte, we're doing open lobbies. Okay, Goon. Okay, Goon. Just in time, Monte. We just opened the lobby. Just for you. Alright, who do we think it is?
It's fucking Ghostface.
I wish. Honestly, that would be a slay.
I'm getting vommy mommy.
Oh, please
no.
no.
It's that one Five Nights at
Spring.
Oh,
Spring trap.
It's Wolfie.
Girl, it would be Wolf.
Right? Imagine. How's everyone? Monte, we're tired. Are you gonna carry me today, Monte? How many flashlight saves are you gonna get today? Oh, he's right there. Rhea. What? Why is these time limit? I'm scared. Rhea, he scared me. I didn't even know he was there. Get the fuck out of my face. Run away! Okay, I think he hears the gen, low-key, sorry. About 6
He's right near
saves?
me
Okay,
now.
oh no, he just TP'd. He TP'd. He sees me. He wants me. Put it down. You're gonna hurt yourself. Oh, he got me. Oh, I'm in the basement like an idiot. Oh, like an idiot. I was in the basement, please. No, no, no me toques. No me toques. Oh, shit.
He has
Oh,
surge.
Oh,
hell no. Oh!
It should have
No,
gone
so
off.
close. You did blind him.
I did. It was weird.
No, don't listen. Oh, man.
Nope.
Yes. Oh, you're watching Beef. Okay. It's so good. Okay. I
Oh shit.
heard that show was really fun. So, if I could get my Netflix together. My Netflix kicked me out because I refused to pay for a second account. Did he just TP?
No, he's trying to get greedy.
He's no. Rhea. Okay, wait. We should get on Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I need to get this conviction heal. I'm gonna try to go for it. Rhea, I'm coming for you. Oh shit, he's still on her.
Oh yeah, he's camping her.
I'll go reassure.
He went back. I'm just gonna start this gen here.
Here, heal me.
Oh, he left me.
Yeah, he's near
Probably
us.
going towards
He's
you
near
guys.
us.
Yeah.
She can get out. She can get out.
Yeah,
I'll
she
go
can
for the
unhook.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
yeah, period.
Nice, Rhea. I'm here,
Oh,
Rhea. Go,
Rhea,
go, go.
Run, sister.
It's fine. I took it for her. No! Get... Oh, what? Why did I hit you?
Oh, you went into the door? Oh my god!
Guys, I need to change my controller binds, please. Please be so serious. I was trying to take the axe off, and because I was near the door, it told me it started interacting with the cameras. I'm gonna literally scream.
He has no heartbeat.
No, he's on silent.
He's going back to hook.
Yeah, we're running.
Okay, he's on me. He's on me.
I'm gonna heal.
got
Come on, bitch.
You're gonna be all right.
That was insane. BRB, let me finish this episode. Monte's like, let me come carry. Oh, thank you, milk jugs. Those jugs, they're perfect. Have you guys seen that video of the baby telling her mom, such nice boobies. They're so long.
Please.
And the mom's like, get out. So funny. Alright, guys. I'm just gonna hang out in the greenhouse. Don't mind me. Oh, naturally.
He's chasing
He's
me
at-
anyways.
Is he chasing you? Oh.
Oh, should I go down here?
Yeah, maybe. He's going back to the hook, right?
Yeah, he is.
Thank you, Rhea.
Oh my god! You scared the crap out of me!
No heartbeat!
The way you
Oh
made
my
me
God.
jump! You
Girl,
scared
he
the
had
shit
no
out of me.
heartbeat. I thought he left me.
Yeah, I don't know what he has that makes him silent. Like, I can only hear him because he's in chase. Oh! Oh no.
He's not gonna let me finish this shit right here.
Oh, this gen it's a wrap for Justin. It's a wrap.
Justin, no. Wait, I'm here.
No, I couldn't. I had to leave. Oh. I'm coming. To the hook. Got you,
No
got you,
way
got you.
that hit.
Here, come with me, Rhea. Come with me. Come. Rhea, come here. Rhea, where are you?
No, damn it, I'm so close.
Here, come here.
Nice try. It was a tough angle.
That gen keeps blowing the fuck up, dude.
I know. I hold myself. Oh. Okay, Rhea. We're on our dead hooks. So is Momo.
Where is he?
I don't know. I'm scared. We'll be able to see him though if he comes here.
He's on me.
Hell yeah. Okay, we finished our gen. Rhea, I heard him. Okay. Box. Run, Box. Oh, he saw me, Box. He saw me.
I'm sorry, baby.
It's okay. It's not your fault. Oh, he's
Oh,
on
I'm dead.
Momo. Oh. Not this.
I'm
No,
coming,
Momo.
I'm coming.
Momo, we're here.
No, you're good. It's okay. I wasn't paying attention to where he
Cover.
was.
Bang, leave, girl.
I can take the down. I can take it to down, maybe?
Bang!
Rhea, run. Okay, Momo's up.
I have Wigglyf. Oh no, he's right here. Fuck. Damn it.
Bang! Hey! Run!
Let's go!
W Wigglyf.
Bitch, you suck. Hit the M1 me. M1 me, bitch. He's leaving me, he's leaving me, he's leaving me. He is?
Justin.
Where are you, girl? Where are you? I'm coming, girl.
Ria's healing me. Ria's healing me.
My bad.
It's okay. It's okay.
God, he's
I'm gonna
so
come back. I'm gonna come back
quiet.
to you. No, he picked me up. He knows my tricks. I had conviction. No, it's not conviction.
W Sabo.
I'm sorry, I tried, baby. Can you get off or no?
Yes.
Rhea,
No,
no.
Rhea. I unplugged my headset. I can't hear anything. I'm gonna hide.
I wanna hide.
I can't hear
real.
anything. Okay, I'm here.
He's on
Rhea,
my
the little
ass.
Sabo gremlin. Guys, I think it's a hatch match, but let's make him work for it. Ooh. I still have my conviction too. Rhea, you icon. You icon the legend, Rhea.
Aw,
Don't worry, we're gonna make him work for it. Momo, no! No.
I'm sorry, Mom.
We're all just going down one by one.
Where is he? I'm
It's
gonna take
alright,
these.
baby.
Right there. There he is. Yeah, come get us. Come get us, Springtrap. He's looking for me. Little does he know.
Oh no, this gen is 0 now.
I know. He's gonna be
How
silent,
many
huh?
Scourge hooks did he have?
A lot. Guys,
I
I'm
felt like he
scared.
popped-
The paranoia has set in.
What is this fucking?
Oh, he wants the 4K. He's going after you. He said, "Oh, I'm gonna hook this one first." Oh shit. Okay, please don't. Yeah, you don't have to go for slug. I'm gonna come try to get you. Okay. Which
No, girl,
direction?
just, no, please don't come get me. Don't come get me.
No,
I'm just
please,
gonna-
please.
No, girl, no.
I want to play in his face. Come on.
He went to the right of me.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, it killed me.
Scared, guys. She's gonna pop out in front of me.
Sorry, bro. You got. Left. Oh my god, yes.
Yes, let's go!
W fucking hatch.
Good. Well, that was fun. Oh, that was scary, guys. He was so scary.
We got a 4 out based off of that hatch.
Period.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know,
4 out, bro.
honestly. Yeah, bear. GG's to her. TTV. Be nice. Oh, they were scary. The silence was silencing.
What did he have that made him silent?
Oh, I literally just kept going.
I left.
I didn't even check. I was just like, oh well, I guess they're quiet.
Like, I spent my whole game doing that one gen.
The one in the middle.
The one in the middle, it was like 75%, and then all of a sudden back down to 0.
Fire. Fires are always safe.
Alright, we're all gonna get out this one. I believe it.
Well,
believe it.
yes.
Well, yes. Here, let's dump these points into the while we're here.
Is B your next P100?
Yeah, he is next.
Nice.
Yes. It's her turn. Her number was called. Hi, Ken. Welcome in. Thank you for the check-in.
Out of here.
How are you doing, Ken? Maybe I'll play as V this match.
Who?
As V.
Great.
I have Wiglif on this one, not Conviction. I have to remember that. I can't go for Conviction. Just relaxing. We're doing open lobbies, so this is actually our second match with this group.
Trouble seems
And,
to find us, Eddie.
we'll rotate people in and out if you want to join. I know Monte said they wanted to join.
W Monte.
Another few other people. Otherwise, we'll still play with the same people.
Me.
Star! Stargazer 5000! 22 check-ins. Insane.
I'm in here.
Insane.
Hi, Star.
How you doing, Star? We're doing open lobbies, friend. Oh, we should do a pin. Ooh.
Girl type.
Shush. I'm angry typing.
Girl, you got those acrylics on and everything.
Yeah. Just...
Okay ล่ะ เอาไงต่อละดี
I'm running object.
Oh. Lovely.
Who is it?
It's a knight.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty.
There've been a lot of those today.
Oh.
No shack palette.
I heard that. I heard that one behind me.
I'm not trying to get him a fucking free hit already.
Shack
okay,
palette
it's
didn't
okay.
spawn. It's okay.
Yeah, there was no Shack Palette. What's Shack Palette?
Yeah.
Hey, hi Ria. Don't worry, I'm here for you. There's room for a certain star.
He's leaving
A
me.
stargazer, if you will. Yes, please come play. Yeah, only icons in chat. We just got a hatch escape to a scary ass Freddy. Or
Oh,
Springtrap.
fuck.
Also, we watched Five Nights at Freddy's 2. That was not good. The first one was so fun and campy, and the second one was just bad. Yeah, it's loading up now. See, period. Oh no, I'm coming. Oh. Oh. No.
Altruism kills, guys. Leave.
Oh, I'm not fast enough. Oh, maybe I could have gotten him. He backed up. That's weird. Altruism kills is great.
It does.
I'm gonna come help you. Oh, if he oh no, he didn't chase me.
Who's an auntie?
It's Rhea. Oh. Okay, yeah, Rhea took the ghost stuff. But I'm going for
Oh, Rhea, he
save.
can see me. Yeah, he can.
Momo, I got you.
Thank you, baby.
Alright, let's see.
I
Momo
love
first
her.
down as usual. Ken, not too much on my Momo, okay?
Building up for the 4-gen chase. Well, yes. Oh, I'm about to go down again. Watch.
Yeah, he's going back.
Yeah, exactly, Rosa. It's just
Hey, Diva.
okay. Let's talk about it real quick. Hey, get off my Momo! Get off! Go that way, freak! No, he's not going that way. He didn't listen. They're attached to him like he wears magnets. I swear to God. Oh my God, no, not my Momo. Momo, were you first dead last game? No, you weren't.
Oh my God, thank you. He's still coming for me.
Why?
Oh, I
Why
found
is he
my glyph.
tunneling?
Baby, I wasn't even good in that chase. Like, you have
Wait,
no
why is this
reason.
monster still chasing me? What the fuck?
Guys, it's just open lobbies night. I promise. We're just having a little fun. It's gonna work on a gen. I guess. I'm at the front of main, by the gazebo. Y'all want heals.
No, we need to. Oh, bitch! Of course he's in the.
Oh, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me.
No, he sees. Oh, he sees me.
It's fine.
I'm running object.
Yep, it's fine.
Ooh, I forgot I'm running dead hard. Okay, I'm okay.
You
I'm
guys
okay.
are running with me. You guys are all running with me.
Everyone.
Objective of some shit.
Vox is like, please. He can. What part of he can see me? Don't you guys understand? Whole time, me and Rhea are like running side by side next to him. No, Rhea, not this. Well, I didn't save Rhea, guys. But I stunned him. I don't think he liked that. I don't think he liked it one bit. Oi! No! He's shook his head at me. He doesn't like it. He didn't like it. He agreed. He's on the hook though.
The ghost can't get you when you unhook, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
it
you're
can.
unhooking someone, it removes the guard.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
The more you
So
know.
you wait until you wait until he throws the guard out, and then you unhook the person.
Look at that, guys. Pro tip: write that down. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. I need to remember that for the future. Yeah, there you go, Ken. Exactly. Yeah, let's take advantage of my resilience. Oh!
Go down here.
We just fully reset too, so we need to get on a gen. So many people don't know that, and when I'm solo queuing, oh my god, well, I hope I never solo queued with you and didn't do that. I would hate for you to be upset with me.
Oh fuck! I threw. I could have went longer.
No, but that was a good chase.
I know I could have went longer. I got greedy. Circle.
I got too excited, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay. We're about to pop this gen.
come get you, Vox.
I'm sorry, Allie. I fully let Allie take that. I fully let Allie take that.
Folks before friends. I mean, gens before friends, okay?
Oh, he hears the gen. No, he doesn't. Doesn't care.
Sending out a ghost.
Yep. I can outrun the ghost.
I hear someone moaning. Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
I'm not moaning.
Oh wait.
Rhea must be close then if you can hear her moaning.
Did you guys hear her?
No?
No. I don't see her either.
I don't even know where
He's
she
mid,
is.
by
She's
the way.
working on a gen.
He's mid.
My glyph.
Coming up this.
Oh, hey, Divas. Oh, sorry. There you go. Oh.
Okay, go. Do you guys see him?
I'm looking. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go help Rhea out. If you guys want to just stay on the gen.
Yeah. Oh, girl, yeah, it's done that. Huh? Oh, you know why I can hear her? Because I have Momo's stream on.
Oh, is my volume up? Sorry.
Not Momo's.
Oh, Justin's.
Justin. Sorry. He's still outside main. We're good.
I'm hit here. He's such a big back. Rhea, I don't know where you are. I lost Rhea, but Rhea lost a night, and that's all that matters. Okay, Rhea, if you can hear me, clap once. Oh,
She's on the
boss,
gate.
I'm
Oh.
coming.
Where you
I
at?
think I'm right behind you. I think Rhea's up there on that gate.
He
for
can
sure.
see me, by the way, so you have to go. Run.
We're, I don't think we're on Shack Gate. I don't know. We're on the
Okay,
other gate.
yeah. I'm going to the other gate. I know exactly where you guys. I would just pop
He's
it
looking for
if
me.
you can.
Open it if you can.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
looking
Yeah,
for me over
pop
here.
it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Vox, you can make your way over here too.
I can. I'm just waiting. Okay. He's going by the shack gate.
Hello. Y'all kind of eating this night up. I mean, I think he's upset. I stunned him a few times.
Vox, where you at? Okay, you're there. Hi, Vox.
Unless he has
Yes,
for-
he's moonwalking.
Is it-
Let's go, Knight.
Hey.
GG's here. You can have my
Here.
med kit.
Let him hit you out
GGs.
so I can see if he has no head or not.
Okay. I love that.
He doesn't want to hit. He's a
He's,
sweetheart.
he's being nice. He's like, y'all ate me up. Y'all ate me up.
I'm taking this blue med kit.
Oh, the greed. The greed.
Box said, "Oh, this is pretty. Wait, this is a cute med kit. I'm gonna go. Don't mind
Gotta
me."
go. I don't know whose it is, but
W4 out, guys. We manifested it. And
Yeah,
you
we
got
did.
it.
We manifested it. It was the hatch. It gave us the good juju. You know.
Yes. Well, thank you for the games,
No, thank
Justin
you,
and
Justin.
Vox and Rhea.
Come back and
Mama,
play
you're a
if
fucking
there's a
legend.
spot. No, you guys are icons.
You are
Thank
too. You guys are icons for sure.
Jeez.
Okay.
Let me in.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Star. Let's get you in here.
she kicked us. Bye.
Bye. She kicked us. No, I left. I would never kick you guys. I just left. Let's get. Hey, I just saw you. There you go. Okay, does anybody else want in? Anybody else want in on games? Maybe someday. Bring Momo back, she's a legend. Oh yeah, we kind of ate that up. Anybody can play. Thanks for the games. Thank you for playing, Ria. I know, because I was reading Ali. I called you Ali because your name is Ali's boobs. So I'm just reading Ali. Sorry, Ria. I literally alternated. I know I could hear myself saying Ali too. That's why I kept making sure to say Ria sometimes too. So we knew. But I kept reading Ali's name. It's Ali's milk jugs. I know, but you know, in the heat of the moment, it's like Ali's ... and everyone knows to look that way. You know what I mean? Let's see if Mark wants to play. Can I have a VC? Oh yeah, you totally can. Now the VC's open by popular demand. Hi, Star. Open lobby icons. Yes, Jam. Do you want to play? Come play. We have
Jam, join
a
us.
spot open. We have one spot left.
Do it.
Yeah, Mark 2. Let me open the game. Yes. Let's get Jam in here. I have to go get ready. Okay, bye, Ria. Thank you for playing the game. I'm so happy we get. I love every time we get games. It feels like a special moment, like a shiny Pokemon, a rare opportunity to hang out. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. Thank you for lurking. Ash, you're next. You're next on the list of people I need to play with. You know. Star, how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm just here chilling, you know. How are
Chillin',
you?
killing. True. I've been working like all weekend, so I'm just happy to be playing video games because I haven't played games, at least DVD anyway, all weekend.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Working on the weekend sucks.
I mean, I'm working part-time right now. I need to actually play is the thing. Yeah, Ash, like maybe we could play together if you would actually play. I work at a plant like landscaping store, so they sell like all these like shrubs and trees and stuff. So I kind of like being outside on the weekend. It makes me feel like I'm not like stuffed at home, but my body's so tired. And at the end of the day, it's still like a retail job. So it's like a lot of customer service, a lot of asking questions, a lot of talking to people, and smiling. And stuff.
Yeah. But hey, you made it through.
Yes, I made it to the other side. Next baby girl. Oh, I gotta live.
That's Jam.
Hey Jam. I think you're at my Discord already. The PC is open. We're gonna do 2 matches and then we'll rotate. I don't think I've gotten to play with Momo yet either. Ash, what are we doing, friend? Get on the game. Also, let me add Jam. Send a friend request. You can decline. It's okay, but just don't tell me. Just don't tell me. All right, let's go. Oh, I knew you would. It's an experience. Playing with Momo is incredible. Oh, okay. You said I can join. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, everybody who's joining lobbies can totally join the VC when you're playing with us. They're open, and it's usually just homies, so I trust that everyone's gonna be nice. I'm sorry I scared you with the FNAF killer. Oh my god. I don't know, can somebody go like you should go wait, let me publish the VOD box so you can go back and see if so you can watch me jump. I like fully jump in my chair to your scream. It's kinda crazy. Oh, none of these streams are published? Oh, let's change that. I also have the
I should probably turn on my controller.
that would help. Step one. Turn on. Hi, Jam.
Hi, Jam.
How are you?
Yoo-hoo. We're gonna totally win. Totally, right?
We are, because Star's gonna carry.
Oh, that's exactly why Star is here. I'm glad we're on the same page about this.
Star, you're gonna carry. Because it ain't gonna be me.
No, it's gonna be Justin, obviously.
Well, T. Well, T.
Oh. You know,
Hi, Justin.
I'll
This
do
is
my
our
little
first
one.
time meeting in VC. How
Yeah.
are you?
Yes. This is a big moment for us.
I'm just baby girl. I try to get bullied by the killer.
I kind of live. No, we love a little killer bait, you know? Vox, I just published the VOD, so you can go back and see if I jump. Because I fully felt myself jump on the chair. Warframe be taken over, but I'm slowly slowing down how much I've been playing it, so DPD is getting more attention. That's how I felt like about Pokopia for so long. I was just playing Pokopia, and I didn't play anything else for like 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, I've done this for too long. I have created a monster. That monster is me, and I need to go back to what I know. So it's been fun playing DPD. I'm actually happy the event's over. I'm happy to be playing regular matches.
Yeah, the event
I really
was
just
not
like
fun.
No, I like the blood point increase though.
That was
Me
great.
too.
That was
but
amazing.
the blood point, I love a little blood point farm, and I like the blood
Mhm.
gens. It's just like at some point it's like, okay, I did this already 20 times. I don't like the gens. I don't really like.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to move on.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, I think those kind of things change the game up a little bit, so it is fun to play. But I feel like 3 weeks, then take away our blood points. Like, just leave the blood points. Give us the blood points.
Yeah.
Events used to be peak time to play, but
Yeah. It's just the way that they redid the blood pumps and where they placed them. They just were placed
Yeah.
horribly this time.
I've seen so many clips of even like blood, like all of the blood pumps being in like the survivor's POV. Like, oh, I can see all 4 of them, 5 of them, in just my peripherals.
Yeah. Like if they're all in a row, like killers could easily just
Camp them.
yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
Justin.
Hey, oh, we're
look at
twinning.
this hottie. Look at this
Look at my
hottie right
ponytail.
here.
Look at the ponytail.
Stiff wear.
It's Ghostface.
Oh, hi, Ghosty.
My husband.
I love Ghostface. Come
I'm about to
here.
bully the fuck out of your husband. Sorry.
Please do.
Never talk about the husband.
He was quick with that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, he has Lightborn.
Oh.
Of course he does.
He doesn't like to be
I
silly
can't
goofy.
bully him.
Exactly, Ash. Exactly. Ghostface is a popular. We're fans of his here. Sorry.
You thought. Get out of here.
I'll get saved.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah, just chase me. Keep chasing me, please. Love me. Chase me.
Choose me. Chase me. He
Love
loved you.
me.
Oh no.
No, he's still on me.
Yeah. You guys are close to me. I can take chase too. I think you got it though. You seem to have it all under control.
No, trust me. Jam is like really good at
Oh.
bullying the killer.
I hear you.
Oh, bullying a killer is my favorite thing to do. I'm coming
Oh.
back. I'm so
Oh.
sorry.
Oh, the
I'm so sorry, dear.
sandbag. It's not me this time.
Well, of course it's not you. I've never sandbagged you a day in your life, Star. How dare you?
That's funny.
I'm in the market, Justin. We can get healed.
No, he's
Oh, he's still on you.
Yeah.
I get him, break him out.
The club is done.
Can I get a whiff?
Absolutely, Whippiana.
I'm gonna go reset that palette in the market.
Please do, because I want to be able to bully the killer on it.
Ooh, good swing. Good swing. Good swing.
Did he get that gen, Justin?
No, he didn't. Or actually, he did. I lie. He did. Darlene, welcome in, Darlene.
Okay, he just stopped the regression, so it's fine.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi, Darlene. How are you? Welcome in. Get your check-in.
Can I get a heal?
Darlene, we're doing open lobbies. Please come play.
Okay, he's in the market. He's going towards Shaq.
Okay.
He's going back to Justin's gin. I'm on the gin in the back of market. Oh shit.
I'm ready to rumble.
I'm
Later,
ready
homie.
to rumble.
He has whatever that perk is called.
I don't know.
Where he
It could be
loses
any
his
of them.
turn Radius.
Yes.
He kicks a gem.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, my brain doesn't work.
I knew what you were talking about. I got you.
Thank you for being bestie. I appreciate it because my brain said absolutely the fuck not.
I was like, I don't know this game well enough to know.
The thing is that I should know the number of hours I have in this game. I should know every perk in this game. I've been playing this game since year 4. It's wild.
Oh, I just missed that completely.
I'm resetting all these palettes.
I'm in the back of the club.
Love that. I'm still in market doing the gen.
I'm coming to market.
Oh. Jam
He's on
found
me.
Ghostface.
I always find ghosts. Face.
Mark's doing a gen. Excellent,
Oh, he's
excellent.
finally
We're all
got
doing stuff. I'm gonna go for save.
Okay, I'm gonna go down the back alley.
Okay.
Just in case.
You forgot.
You forgot!
Oh, he found me. Never mind. I will not be going for save.
I will go for save.
It's okay.
He
I'm
left.
just hanging out.
He left me. I think he went back to Hook. I have no eyes on him.
Yeah, he just kicked that gen.
Oh. He's on Mark.
Okay, I got it. I'm right here.
Where are you? Oh, you ran him so far. Good job, Mark. Oh my god, good job. You ate that. You took him so far. See if you stop in, you're just not eating. Yeah, take your time. We just started. We will be here for a while. I owed everyone a stream. I owed myself a stream, so we're doing open lobbies for a few hours today.
Yeah, he's crouched.
I'm in Shaq. He's near me.
I think he's going towards Shaq.
He's
try to
gonna-
grab save.
Yeah. Can you?
I'm set it up.
Is-
I'm set it up for save.
He's perceiving me.
I'm
I
right
got
here,
saved.
so
Oh, I'm
right
dead.
here.
That's lovely.
Oh, well,
I
we
didn't
can
know where I
pick you up.
was. I was disoriented for like a hot second. Yeah, reset the body. The Jen and Shaq has progress, but it's probably progressing.
He's here. He's here. He's here.
Unforeseen. That's what. Is that what it's called? Momo shouted it out.
Is it unforeseen?
The perk. We'll see. We will see.
Where is he?
He's crouched. I think he was chasing me, but I don't think he is anymore.
I think he's.
I
looking
don't
at me.
see him. Oh, he's opening lockers. He's opening lockers.
Oh, he must have the aura reading.
He's right
He has
near.
to.
He's near Mark. No. No,
Okay,
Mark,
I'm gonna go
run.
for save.
Run,
You
Mark,
got it,
run.
Star. He's going back into.
No way.
No! He has Lightborn, so.
I know.
Nor. It's okay. It's okay. He wanted it.
Oh,
What? Oh, Mori!
Not in front of my salad. Unforeseen transfers his terror radius to the Gen and makes him undetectable. One of your favorite killer perks.
yeah, but I think it's
Unknown
Trail of
perk.
Torment because Trail of Torment makes the Jin highlighted.
Yeah, I
Is it-
saw
is
the
it maybe
Gen.
the
I
same
did see the
thing?
Gen. I did see the Gen. Shaq highlight.
He's crouched, Star.
Oh, so Mark and I are dead. Okay, but Jam and Star totally make it out.
I'm looking for him real quick, so.
Yes, Trail. Then we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know
Is
where
that
he
the only
Trail.
difference between them, Jam?
So Trail doesn't put his terror radius on the Jin; it just
He's
highlights
on
the
me.
Jin.
Oh,
is
okay.
by,
So I think it's Trail.
Star, run. I am perceiving
Yeah,
you.
I'm on Jin.
LOL. Star! Stop! Don't do that. Oh, good try.
Oh no.
Star, you are
That's okay.
so silly for that. What is... Star is an icon for that. Not
Do
right
you
in
know
front
which
of him
direction he goes,
too.
Star?
He went around the club towards the main street.
Excuse
Okay, so
me.
that crow.
That was crazy. I'm so sorry. Usually I'm such a lady.
I gotta be a little goofy funny sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
A little goofy, funny, get a little kooky, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I come. I try to save Star.
I don't know
He
where
will
he
come.
is.
He's gonna come and try to perceive me. I know it. Oh, he kicked my Jin and Shaq. He went all the way over there. That's crazy.
He's pretty quick, so he'll probably be on his way
Oh, he's
back
here.
here. Oh, how is he?
Right. How are you already here?
Oh,
Thank
hell no.
you.
I'm gonna go do your gen at Shack.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go down.
No.
Ooh.
Did he leave me? No, he didn't.
No. He's just slow. He's trying to perceive you. Ooh! Oh my god!
bitch.
You're just skinny!
Skinny legend.
Like, literally. He can't touch you.
Skinniest of legends, didn't you know? Why you
No.
so fast?
You kind of ate. No, he was slow a little bit. He was trying to stare you down. He lost so much distance. Or he gained so much
Save
distance.
yourself.
No.
No!
Oh, you know I'm gonna let myself die. Get out of here.
No,
Get away
no,
from me.
I'm coming for you. You can't do
If you-
that.
If you come over here, I'm gonna cry.
Good.
Wow. One more, and I'm gone. One more and I'm gone.
No, don't. If you
You're
do
gonna
it
make it all
in
the way
front of
over
me
here.
right now,
Not this.
No! Why is he trying to perceive you? Stop
You're the
looking at me!
weirdo.
Stop looking!
staring at me, you weirdo.
You freak! Oh, GG. Good
Why
try.
are you staring at me?
Good try, guys. This is a good try.
You know what? We had a silly, goofy time, and
We-
that's all
it
that
was still-
matters.
You know, you're right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's all we could ask for. At
It's
the
okay. I'm
end
just
of the
being.
day.
I'm just a girl. What am I meant to do?
Exactly. I'm just a girl.
You are the killer. You're just the killer bait. You know what I mean? You said you always look for killer. You always try to say hi to them. Be their
I
friend.
do. Maybe I should change my name back to Hex Bully Me.
You should.
Oh my god! I played with somebody
Okay.
like in a solo
Bully
queue
Daddy.
that was like,
Mhm.
hit me on hook. And literally, I don't know if it was on stream or not, but literally, the killer went up to the person and was just hitting them the whole game.
Uncharted
The whole-
territory.
Oh my god, Dustin, you scared me.
Dustin. He's also Hex Bully Girl.
Bandit! Dustin is on my list of
Hello.
P100s.
Hi, Bandit.
Bandit, do you want to play open lobbies with me? Be honest. It's okay if you can't.
Hello,
I understand.
Bandito.
But we'll be playing for a while, so maybe you can hop in whenever you're free. This is the second match with this iconic group of guests. I did burp in front of them, so I feel like we bonded really, really, really hard.
Honestly, best friends now.
Yes, exactly.
BFFLs. Literally.
It's-
But
just how
yeah,
it
we're
is.
rotating people in and out. We're hanging out with my VC, listening to some music. Andy, how was your weekend? How was y'all's weekend? Jam, what did you do?
What did I do this weekend? I met up with some friends who were visiting from out of the country.
Ooh, okay.
And then played games.
Can't complain about
That's
that.
about
I will
it.
def join next
Can't
time.
complain
Yes,
about that.
please. That sounds fun. Where are your friends from?
They live in the U.S.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I live in Canada.
Oh, yes, I did know this. I'm recalling these facts, details. That I...
Mhm.
Canada, love it there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you on the East Coast of Canada?
Yes, I am.
So close to
So
me,
lot
but
of-
so far.
So
So close
but
yet so far.
No.
We'll be together very soon, Star.
I love
We
that.
will.
I love that. But I am here to watch and support. You know what? That's more than enough for me, Bandit. I promise. How was your weekend? Hellfire Club. Winning.
Mhm.
Honestly, that's a great Dustin outfit. I
Ooh,
love that little
thanks.
that little open shirt
Mhm.
tucked in. He looks great. Ark, is that you? Is that you? Ark? How are you? Welcome in. Get your check-in. Bandit, get your check-in. Start your counter. Ark, do you want to join open lobbies? We're rotating the lobby next match. It was okay. Haven't been feeling good. Aw, Bandit, well, you know, you sincerely asked how things were on Instagram, so if you ever need a chat, the Instagram DMs are always open. I'm so sorry you're not feeling well. And I understand now wanting to damp we don't have to talk about it on chat either. I'm sorry, Pookie. Oh, yeah. Big hug for Bandit.
Yes,
Go-
Hugs Bandit.
Go watch that clip of your stream when I was like sappy senti times a bandit. You were telling us we are your trash, your treasure trash. Yes, with the check-in, exactly. Oh, you have 3 already. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. It's still pretty new. I don't know who does it yet. But we have some people in the 30s already, so that's kind of crazy. I appreciate you all. Yeah, of course. We're just here to have a good time. We're just here to hang out and have a good time. Yeah, we appreciate you, Bandit. You brought us all together. I literally only met Star because you guys were doing your little campfire stream. I was like, hi, Star.
And I was like, oh my god, hi.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Literally.
Herstory even.
Herstory even. Period.
Yes.
Exactly. We love to see it. Okay. Oh,
It's a nurse. I'm about to have
Nurse!
a time of my life.
Honestly, I think Nurse and Destling are my 2 favorite killers.
Oh my god,
to
why is
go
my
against.
Destin glitched? Oh my god, this is
I
horrible.
just
It's
kind of watch
terrifying.
you run in a circle.
Me?
Wish you were first.
Sorry.
Yeah, I did. No. I was confused because then you said, "Why am I glitched?" And I was like trying to figure out what was glitched about you.
Oh, my shirt is like the little hang up, like the shirt that he wears on top of his shirt is like glitched to only be like a crop top. So
Oh,
my t-shirt
yes.
is still there.
But it's a sleigh, so it's a
This
sleigh
is
even.
iconic.
It's a bit of a sleigh, but also I'm confused
But also technology.
because why is the rest of it cropped?
Really, I love that. No, yeah, literally, I met Star that day you guys were duoing, and then one day I popped into their stream. You were playing Pokemon Legends, and I was like, period. This is my kind of gal.
Yep.
Take my treasure everywhere, literally. You're trash.
Is Nurse okay? I haven't heard her.
I don't know. I haven't heard her go.
She's doing that thing where she hides behind the door.
She doesn't have a tear radius right now, so maybe. Do we need to look for the totems?
Oh wait, can she TP through the door even though it's shut?
Yeah, she can. Yeah, she can get behind them.
I'm kind
I'm
of
gonna look
scared.
for totems. I'm gonna look for totems. Because this feels like a nurse that might also have a NOED and an
Like a
attempt
NOED
to...
situation.
You do need more campfire duos, Bandit.
Yeah, Bandit, let's do it. Can you? Where can I sign up?
Honestly, the 2 of you would be iconic.
It's true, it's true.
Let's play Bandit. Let's do campfire. I'll bring the s'mores.
Alright, I got one totem.
Only one. I'm looking to.
I haven't seen any bones.
No bones. I found one.
Okay. Oh,
I think she is. She must be hiding, huh?
she
Yeah,
is.
she
'cause
has to.
She has, what's that? Her,
The one where you can stand still and be silent.
yeah.
Is it? It's not Oblivious, right?
It's It's not Oblivious. I don't remember. I know exactly the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she just doesn't have a, yeah, so
She
doesn't
might
have
even
a
really be.
carry right now.
She might be behind the door with Insidious.
Insidious, that's what it is.
Yes. Momo, ding ding ding! And Momo, you win a brand new car! Woo!
Not a car.
Insidious, yes, that too. Okay,
How
she
many
might
have
be
you
behind.
found, Jim?
I've only
Wait, did
found
we-
one.
Only one pair of
Also only
bones?
found one.
Okay, wait. Get off,
Waiting.
get off! Babe,
I
get
found
off
a
the
second
gen.
one.
Babe, get off the gen. Get off the gen. Please get off the gen. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Okay,
we're
that's
okay.
3.
3, and then how many
Okay.
more? How many more do we need?
How many have you done, Star?
I just
one or
found
2?
one. I have 2 now.
Okay, so I've done 2, Star's done 2, we just need one more.
Did we?
All right,
check
find the
any-
bones.
Oh, I'm in main now.
Okay, I'll speak. I'm not certain.
Yeah, let's also both look in main.
She's gonna be so mad if we get them all.
Here's the thing, I'm gonna be mad if we did all this and she didn't have no ed.
Any of that stuff.
But I know she has Insidious because I haven't been able to see her, and I have a perk that should let me see her if I'm exhausted.
Okay, I don't see any bones.
Okay, no bones in main.
We checked Shack, right?
No,
I
I
don't
mean
think
I
I
haven't
checked
been to
Shack.
Shack yet.
I'll go to Shack.
I see all the broken bones. Get a yearly
Those
list of
bones.
invites, so Def, keep it up, please. I would love to do your duos. That would be so much fun.
There's none in Shack.
Okay, so it really is
Okay.
just in the middle.
Ugh, I wish I had that perk that would like tell me where they
That
are.
would ding, yeah. What is it?
Yeah,
I used to play that.
small game.
Yes.
Maybe
Well,
it's
we're all
next.
looking, so
Yeah.
she's probably like, how are they not done yet?
She's probably like waiting. She's like, please finish.
I see 0 bones, guys.
There's one more.
I'm pretty sure I only did 2.
I did too,
Yeah, I see
for sure.
I'm finding all the ones y'all broke. That's when you stand still. Should we have teleported to behind the gate? You can
Found it?
stand by
Okay,
it and
last
see if
one.
you can hear her breathing. Okay, period. Okay, wait. Let's get back on the gen.
Yeah, get the gen done. I'm on the last bone, so I hear her. She's behind this door.
She's in this door.
I'm
I
sick.
hear her.
That's sickening.
I hear her.
That's sick. It's
We
the
know you're in
gen.
there.
We hear you, girl. Mouth
We know you're
breather.
in there.
We can live
Mouth
here.
breather.
I'm gonna go to the other door and be ready to open it.
Yeah, no, this is the door that the gen's on anyway. Mouth breather. We hear you.
Hilarious.
I'm like, bitch, I hear you.
Even Momo
Yeah.
said it. You could probably go to the door and hear her breathing.
Rancor. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Should we all open that door and just stare her down after?
Well, Star can't because she's gonna get worried.
Oh.
I can leave though, and you can. To y'all.
Oh, she's moving. She's on the move.
Yep.
Let her get here.
And look at that. We outsmarted her. Outsmarted and outplayed Miss Nurse.
The thing is, you gotta do it when you get closer to the end. Like, you gotta hook a couple people.
Yeah.
Later,
The fact that she hid the
girl.
whole time.
Bye, sister. Where is it? There it is. Bye, Diva.
Oh, there she is. Oh.
Come
Really?
on,
Where'd you
Diva.
go? Oh, you
Let's
don't want to say
go.
hi to everybody? Let's say hi. Oh,
We're here,
no,
sis.
she went that way. All right, I'm
She
leaving.
said, so I'm over it. Bye. She said, "I'm over it."
GG's. And that's how you pour out. You know what I mean?
She really thought that she was about to get us. I
She
said,
really
I need your
thought.
game already.
She was
I
trying
need
to
your
get her
game
clip.
already.
She was trying to get her clip.
Noed, Rancor.
Was it? Was it?
Noed, Rancor, Game of Foot.
Insidious.
She totally was
There you
like,
go.
I'm
Escape
Memorial,
stat.
all of them.
We were right though to do the totem because she did have no one escape death.
Yeah,
Mhm.
period. Look at that. Let's see her build.
She's coming
Ooh,
back.
nurse. Yeah, exactly. Oh, nurse, please. Like, read you like a book. It's the way y'all clocked it, like, immediately. It's kind of crazy.
I was like, as soon as I didn't see her tear rate or see her aura anymore, I was like, oh, I know exactly what she's doing. Find the
GG's.
totems right now.
No, we kind of
What
ate.
do you-
Figured out which door too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we randomly were doing that gen anyway. And then we were like, oh, let's listen. GG's, y'all. Thank you for playing.
Yes,
Yes,
thank
thank
for the
you.
games.
Okay, who's next? Who do we want to play with next? Anybody else want to play? We're rotating back a new squad. Momo, Fox. Anybody? Otherwise, we'll open it back up to Jam or Star. Thanks for the games. Yes, we'll be rotating in and out too. We'll be on for a while if you need to take a break. That was so much fun. We love a yap session. We love a good game or two. Thank you for the games. Thank you for the carry. That Ghostface really wanted us dead. But we made up for it. We made up for it. Nobody else wants in? We can get Jam and Star back in here if y'all want to play again. Mark, if you want to play. Just request to join. I will be right back. I'm gonna grab my water. Let's get Momo back in here. Like, exactly. The icon, the legend. Alright, I'm gonna be right back though. Let me grab my water bottle. Momo's in charge, guys. I'll play a couple more. Thank you. Let's play. Let's play. I'm back with water. Now, which one of y'all is going to carry me? Exactly. Who's coming back in play? Who wants to play? Star? Jam, if you guys want back in. Dude, why is my Spotify widget so cracked out? Every screen. Otherwise, Momo's just gonna run the duo. I think we're gonna be okay.
We got this. We'll manifest goaded randoms.
No, really. Don't know the vibes immediately.
Well, yes. What's your V at in terms of P100?
Let's see. Is that 10 or something?
Oh shit! Okay, long way to go.
10, literally 10. Oh yeah, she has some time. I can join back. Oh, period. Let's start back in here.
Yay, Star!
Get some games with Momo.
all we're missing is Rosa _ Ryan _ Toki for the OG
I know.
Swift.
Period. Look at that.
What is up, icons?
Hi.
Hi, Star. I missed you.
I missed you.
We're so cute in our matching shirts, guys. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ready up.
Honestly, though, that nurse game was wild.
I cannot believe that.
I can't believe you guys managed to get all 5 totems. Like,
No,
to you
literally,
guys.
the way she didn't even try to look for us. Like, you
My
didn't
ass would
think we
never
were,
be able to.
like, you didn't think we were fixing it. Like, you didn't think we were like cleaning all the. Julian.
We were just
Welcome
like, you know, we're
back.
gonna get all of them.
No, literally. How was your flight? How was being home? Did you get your nap? Be honest. You look like you had a lot of fun, as tired as you might be. Are you too tired for open lobbies? Be honest. Come play. You just woke up from a nap? Just in time to play with me. Oh. I see how it is. But honestly, W sleep. You should. Oh, I mean. No, I get it. Also, I would also be sleepy all day. How are you? Whew, I should be sleeping. But these games have been fun. I would, but I'm also half awake right now. But if you're on when I wake up again, I will play. That's a loaded question. Wait, what time is it for you? Is it not 6:30? You're gonna go back to sleep and wake up later? What do you mean? Why not just sleep?
Why not just sleep? Period.
Like, why not just stay asleep? Or do you mean you have like an alarm set and you're getting up anyway? Because there's a spot with your name on it when you're ready. I don't want to see too much longer. Oh, period. Yes, come play after. All right, Laura, show us what you got. Oh, full stack. Well, no, not really. We're playing with the random. We just wanted to pop in and say hi and hope the streaming goes well. Thank you, Julian. Yes. And get your rest. We had too much fun this weekend. You need some sleep. I'll be around if you need other. Yes. Just join the
Jam
next
says,
one.
let me in, girl.
He's knocking.
Let me in.
Did y'all like my adventures on my story? Be honest. Julian, it was so great to see your face, to see how emotive you are, your style. It was so exciting to read your long ass caption. It's awesome. I love being a part of every minute of it, the whole journey.
We love a mini vlog for sure.
Yeah, you're a
It's
vlogger
fun.
for real.
Next step is to live stream that shit.
You were pretty emotive. Yeah, you were. I was not expecting all that. Not that I thought you weren't emotive, but I didn't know what you looked like. So it was also cool to be like, oh look, There's a real person there. It was just for twice. Yeah, whatever. You will return. Or else. Just kidding. Hopefully my face didn't disappoint. What do you mean disappoint? I never have any expectation. Also, everyone in chat is a baddie, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Clock it, Justin.
I don't know what you're talking what you're on about. We're all baddies in chat. Very true. So baddies only, literally. Hashtag by rights.
By solidarity.
Oh my god, wait. I'm not even joking though, guys. I saw a car sticker at work today. Like somebody, like one of the customers had a Buy Pride sticker on their car, and I kind of laughed in my head a little bit, thinking about my rights. Oh,
Is it?
hello?
Well, it's a spirit, and she's bald. She forgot her wig at home.
She left her
Ooh,
wig.
okay. You know,
Well,
she's just feeling confident within herself.
True.
she forgot her wig, her clothes. We're full
Yes,
naked
Julian, get your
here.
Z's. Oh, here she comes. I'm an idiot. Why did I let go of my sprint? Guys, she's TPing. Oh, I saw her. Ew, she's so ugly. You sound like Yoshi.
She's good though. I'm scared. I suck at spirit, let alone a good one.
She is naked.
Naked and not afraid.
Like literally fearless.
She's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! It looked
Maybe
like
we're
she
cooked.
took
I'm
out
sorry.
your knees. It
I'm
looked
going
like
to
she
basement.
got you at your knees, Star. What?
Mm-hmm.
This is a GG's good luck next match type of thing.
Yeah. Get me out of here.
Hey, Diva. Oh.
I'm going for hook. Let me heal you. No! It's because I'm not there to bully the killer. No, exactly, Jam. We needed you.
I can't with me going to heal you and you just going, no!
No, yes, I like to heal. Jeez.
She's
I got my
gone.
dead hard. Oh my god.
You're incredible.
Yes.
I'm new to dead hard, guys, so I get excited
ate.
over those little things. Thank you. Except she's about to kill me right now. Oh, fuck. Shit. Sorry. Okay, Lara's going. She got the save, y'all.
Laura got the save to make up for missing the skill
I'm still
check
in the
before. Let's go.
I'm still in the game, y'all. She's
Run,
gonna get me
run,
again, though.
Momo, run.
Fuck. Ah, shit.
Oh,
She's so good at her phasing. It's scary.
finally.
Okay, we
Shit.
got one gen.
Like, damn. She must have scored something because
No, I'm in.
somebody when she
Now
hooked
Ken.
earlier. When she hooked earlier, it blew up the gen. Oh,
Oh, she's fast.
I'm going for her
Yeah.
save.
I have sprint burst and she caught up to me.
Now Momo. Oh. Oh, Laura's on you. Okay, I'm gonna go for Jen, I guess. Sarita. I'm gonna go with this Jen. Ken, are you gonna play games with us? Be honest. Am I worthy?
Ken just plays games with our hearts.
No, am I being played with?
Yep.
Fries. Fries in Spanish. Laura, you could have taken this chase. Now she's on me. Oh! Oh my god, she's scared.
Holy shit, the way she spawned in front of you, oh my god.
Did y'all see that? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. That was terrifying. Laura, I trusted you.
Laura said.
I just started cooking bacon. Oh, right. Legit. Kind of forgot. Wait.
Okay, why are there like no
I
jets?
trusted you, Momo. Okay, exactly. I'm sorry, Ken.
What did I do, Vox?
Don't laugh at me, Ken. Okay, but what are you cooking bacon for? Now, are you gonna share this bacon? Because I love me some bacon.
Awesome. Thanks.
I'll come bully next match. Yeah, we'll have the space for sure.
Yes, Jam.
I'm gonna go for save it. I'm gonna be altruistic as hell. For the random.
She went up in Maine.
Oh, I might let the random rot a little bit.
Just a little bit.
She's going around Hook. Oh, she's going to that gen, I think, Justin. I'm gonna go reassure.
Oh, she sees me. Oh.
I got
Sorry,
you.
Momo. Gotta go.
No, don't be sorry. Girl, she better not cut us off. Oh god.
You're an icon.
Do I need to go for the random?
Oh, no,
fuck, I could've hit
Momo.
my dead hard.
No,
Okay,
Momo.
Let her take me.
No.
Let her. No, Justin.
I got my answer.
Oh, I'm dead. Well, what do we say? At least you got one gen done. You're just so popular. Yeah. Wait, I get to play with you,
Jam.
Momo. I am nervous. Oh, of course.
Baby, you saw me flop. Don't be nervous.
Have you seen Momo play? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
Ah! And
I'm
so that was my
kidding.
LG. Thank you so
No,
much for having me. I will be unfollowing.
Guys, do you remember?
unsubbing.
Unfollow you, crazy. No, please, stay. Don't leave. I was joking.
I'm here. I'm here.
Momo got the dead heart, so like, that's how
Yeah,
much you
one or
know.
two.
That's how much you need to know about how great it is to play with Momo. The dead heart on a TP, right? She wasn't just on you. She was
Yes.
whispering.
Start just blinding this bald lady.
Or just eating her up. Like I'm. Oh! Why was that a slow vault? Doesn't make any
I
sense.
don't know.
We hate when that happens. Period. Star! Star, you icon, you legend! Oh my god. Oh! Got her swinging! Got her swinging! Just got her swinging at the air. Oh no, it's over. Literally, Star is eating her up. Ooh, good try, Star. You gotta eat her
You
up.
ate that, sister. You ate that shit up.
Not a sweat.
I'm trying to be
Not
like
a
you.
sweat. Not a sweat drop in sight. There was no sweating. She said, "Oh, just another day."
Mm-hmm.
No, that was fun to watch. I mean, it is Star. I mean, the Stargazer 5000.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wait, where's my thing? Where's my thing? Hold on.
Me, Jessica.
What?
What's up, Haven? How are you?
No, no, no!
No, no, no! Come on, Spirit. You're gonna let the Lara live, right? Come on. Let the Lara live. Run, Lara, run! Or not. Well, let's get jamming here. How you doing, Haven?
Himmelaiken-moi.
Oh. I guess not.
Oh, do you have to reset the lobby maybe?
Yeah, let me try that.
Reject.
Not the reject. Me crying in the corner.
Hey, Jam.
Jam's back. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it says join request no longer valid. What? No.
Wait, I think I'm coming.
Oh.
Yep, I
Oh,
should be there.
I'm
Yeah.
scared. Oh,
Hi.
okay. We're all matching.
Hi, Jam.
Crickets.
Jam said, "Fuck all of y'all."
Wait,
Jam said,
sorry.
I'm eating.
Sorry, I always forget that my headphones have a mute button and I press it all the time.
No, you're
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Well,
Mom was
Yeah,
like,
that's
right.
Hi, how are you? You can ask Star. I constantly mute myself and forget.
Guys, I
Happens
literally was
literally all the
muted on stream for 45 minutes before I noticed.
Oh.
It was gross.
Damn.
I don't want to talk about it. It's a sad time.
What perks am I running? Why do I never know what perks I'm running? That's the problem.
I don't know. It's like the same perks every time.
I'm
You
a
know, when
creature of
you-
habit.
When you had me run no mither,
What?
Oh.
Oh,
I
excuse
don't
me?
recall this.
you don't recall telling me to
Let's
run
talk
no
about
mither?
it.
No.
This sounds
Me
like a
getting
therapy
upset.
session. And how did that make you feel?
I mean, you asked, and I
It's
answered.
true. I did. You're right. Clock my
So is
teeth.
this my fault or is this yours? Hmm.
Oh.
I'm gonna blame you.
Oh.
Because why would I blame myself?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Alright, what are the odds they bring Lightborn if I bring a flashlight?
100%. I can switch off a flashlight. I don't need it.
Maybe y'all
I
can do the
also
quick
on
switch.
flashlight.
Do the quick switch at the last second. I think it's at like 8 or 7 seconds where you gotta do the quick switch
yeah, I'll
before
do
it
that.
ends.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
I'm afraid to do that because I feel like I'll mess it up and end up with a flashlight.
I just forget to do it. I'll be like, okay, I'll quick switch, and then I completely forget.
I mean, that's okay if I bring in a med kit. Not a bad thing.
True, true.
Hi, Knock.
Oh my god, it's Nog! Welcome in. First time in chat? What? No way. How you doing, Nog? Get your check-in. Oh, that little guy is so cute.
Yeah, those are his emotes.
Stop!
Goblin emotes.
He's adorable. I want 100 of them.
Start typing 100 of them.
Oh my god, they're so cute. All of your emotes are so cute.
We love cute emotes.
So, are you not following Nog?
Wait, those are so cute.
Aren't they?
Oh, I
I'm
love cute
clicking in
emotes.
time.
Nog, we're gonna be besties. Don't worry.
That's okay.
Don't you
Oh
worry.
shit, I didn't switch back to my flashlight. What is this?
See, I be forgetting too.
I'm never gonna be able to.
Live that
Maybe
down.
this is for the best. Maybe this is for the best.
Maybe this
True,
is a
true,
sign.
true.
Star, do we need to stop running flashlights so often?
Never.
Never.
Nog, how you doing? How's your weekend?
Oh my god. That was so funny. I'm crying. Not me forgetting to switch back.
After
Now
we
you're
were
gonna be
literally
running
just
around-
talking about it.
Running around with your little coin purse now.
With
It's
my
okay.
little coin purse and perks that I don't know what they are.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Random perks.
DBD on hard
Yeah.
mode.
I love DBD on hard
Usual
mode.
perks.
It's probably my normal perks.
Because I think the last time you played him was when we were together, which is not that long ago.
Oh, true.
Hey guys.
Oh, not
Oh.
my controller disconnecting.
Okay, I need to
Oh.
go open some
So-
chests, so I'm gonna leave.
Step 1, charge your controller. Oh, I just saw. Oh, it's an Onryo.
It just turned off.
There's a chest here, Star. Oh, never mind. You're in chase.
Yeah.
I don't have a flashlight.
A wild knock appears. Not the 6-7 bits. Knock. We trusted you. Just kidding. Thank you for the biddies.
She
I
leaves.
got
We
you, Star.
trusted you.
Yep. She lost you.
Not 6-7ing me. Ruin, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
not ruined.
I hear someone crying.
It's okay. I
Clara,
got
me.
where are you?
I'm always crying.
Oh, shit.
No! Why does she want me so bad?
Because you're so cute. Hey, we turn off the TV. I don't want to. I don't want to watch your movie. It's a little too scary for me.
Cindy, the TV is leaking.
It's just messing up my
I have to
floor.
add that sound alert. Oh yeah, that's
She lost me again.
And Star says she's not a bully and she doesn't care.
All lies. You know what?
So
It's a
Star-
good thing I brought in a med kit.
True. It's worked out.
Ooh, I gotta go return my Blockbuster tape. Hold up.
Honestly,
Oh,
bring it back, Blockbuster.
honestly.
She's over there.
Bring it back.
That's where I
Where-
gotta go
wait,
bring
where?
my tape.
What does over there mean?
Oh, I was saying that's where she is.
Oh,
She's at the house now.
yeah.
Went to the shack to return my tape.
She found me,
No, she's on me.
and she lost me. Oh, so you were sandbagging me is what I'm hearing.
What do you mean I was sandbagging? I was hiding and
right
she
near
found
you.
me. I didn't know
Sorry,
what she
this is Sorry, this is starting to seem more and more like a you problem. Not everybody can be sandbagging.
Not too much on my Star now. Get behind
No,
me,
no.
sister.
No,
I
no,
got
no.
you.
No,
I was like, I
I am
think you're wrong.
notorious. I'm notorious for sandbagging Star.
Oh, there we go. The truth comes out.
I just wanted it to not be my fault, but really it is my fault. And I
Did I
should
say
be
it was
punished
your
for it. No, it's my fault. You know, the killers chase me, I don't pay attention, and all of a sudden Star is there, and I've messed up.
I'm just there.
She's doing her job, she's doing Jin's, and I'm...
I mean, I'm
No!
doing my job right now.
GG.
Nice try.
I blinded her twice. flashlight came in handy.
See, you're slaying with a flashlight.
But I'm cursed, so my resilience doesn't go up.
I fear she may be mad if we unhook you. Oh, never mind. She's after me.
I'll get the unhook. Oh, never mind.
Oh, she still has ruin.
My meat is slippery!
Do you want
Just kidding.
heals?
Yes, please. 99
sorry, I
made it
didn't see it there.
possible.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
No, she'll still come after me. No,
And then we
she
can work
didn't.
on a gen together and you can heal me after, I guess.
I'll go back on your gen.
No.
It's okay, I love being in chase. It's my favorite.
Period.
I have to go open
Okay.
this thing over here.
Yeah, I have to return it to you. Hold
What? Damn, we're already
Later,
on
Diva.
one gen.
on. One hook, one gen. Stop it, girl.
Bully her. Bully her.
Ooh,
I have a tape in my hand! I have a tape in my hand!
Get rid of that spicy Susan. Thank you.
she's over here.
I don't think I finished my gin. Did y'all finish my gin?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here for a heal. Yeah. You want to heal or you want to? Oh, she's
Oh, there's ruin.
W.
Is that ruin?
Oh, there's another
Maybe?
totem here.
I think so.
She might have had Undying. I'm on the other totem.
Let me see if this is ruined.
Is it still regressing?
No!
Oh, Justin. No, it's still. That
I have a
that wasn't
tape in
ruined.
my hand. She wants you bad. Dude, I have a tape in my hand. I couldn't blind her.
Okay, we have to pick Justin after this because I have a feeling she's gonna tunnel.
Yeah,
I'll try to get the gen progress as far as you can.
she's
I
coming
can
to
hold
main, and
as much as I can.
I'll try to go reassure Justin, so he has more time.
Ryan, welcome back. Ryan, what are you up to? How's the
Ooh,
puppy?
big
Which
whip.
gen are we working on?
Main, but there's
main.
barely any
Oh!
progress.
I'm gonna hop on it.
I wasn't about it.
Oh, I don't have Wait, why didn't my reassurance work? What the fuck? I do have reassurance.
I need to go. I can go grab Justin.
I can grab. I'm here.
Oh,
I'll
No,
grab.
it's okay. Wait, she's still around. She might tunnel. Let's see if I can go down or something.
Go, 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 go.
Yeah, I'm leaving this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me heal. Let me heal.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to play doggy uncle duties. Yes, yes. And what did that include? Did you take a walk? Did you play? Did you cuddle? Did you play with him? And then I'll heal you.
Nope, she's here. She's here. She's here.
I'm gonna try and finish this gen and then.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
She goes back to hook. She's just gonna try to get a kill at this point.
She's on me. If Star can finish the gen, it should be good.
I'm gonna try to go for hook while you take this chase.
You want to go for a door instead? Because I can grab
Hit.
hook. 'Cause it's
Finish,
right
finish,
here.
finish, 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 finish.
The door is right on
I'm
the
on door.
chase. Yeah. I'm gonna go for the other door, Star.
She's still here. She's leaving.
Extra long walk. Treats and a couple of good boys. Oh.
Run, run, run.
He's the best to spoil. Oh yeah, yeah, you can't spoil him too much.
Oh no, she got past me. She got past me.
Oh, I fucked up my dead hard because I forgot she phases. Oh, fuck.
It's okay. We can go for. We're gonna save. I'm just opening door. I have Wigliff as well. So that's the thing. Take her away, Star, if you can.
I'll keep recovering and then I'll start
Okay.
crawling to the
No,
door.
because if I go away,
Oh.
then she's.
Oh!
Oh, no worries. Nice try.
Yeah, take him to the door.
Both doors are open.
Damn, it was close.
I can't stick around for long.
Reset?
I'm dead here, I think.
Oh no, Justin.
No, I'm gonna have to leave.
There's a door over there.
Yeah, leave.
Other way, other way.
Oh,
yeah.
period. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're
Go,
good.
go, go.
Woohoo! My Aunt Rio. It's okay. We had to get everyone out though. Like, she's great and all, but we had to get out.
Ooh, I get to keep my tape. Bye.
GG's.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm not
a
returning
little.
anything to block today.
I love her. Honestly, I feel like I've been facing her so much more often recently. Like, literally, we've gone against her so much. GG's, you guys. Well, wait, we'll play one more since Jam joined late. Is that okay, Momo? Do you have time for one?
Yeah, I'm down.
Thank you.
Of
Yeah,
course, it's an
Well, just
honor.
that was our first match. You know what I mean?
It's true, it's true. I'm just gonna put my flashlight on.
It was fun. It was fun. I blinded her. I'm sad I didn't get that save. Did I just do it too early? I was like afraid I was gonna do it too late. I guess it didn't matter. She said, "What flashlight?" Ken, do you main Onryo? Are you a killer main?
Ken does not touch killer.
Oh, you just love it. You just
Yeah.
love her. I feel that. Ken's like, killer? Where? The Hellfire Club does it again.
I'm so excited for the next rift.
Do we know yet what it's gonna be? Oh, it's gonna be AOT, right? Or am I wrong?
That's the assumption. There's
Yeah.
nothing confirmed, but we do
Okay.
know that there is more Attack on Titan stuff coming. That is all we know.
Because they got my girl Angelica Ross to come back again for the trailer. Did y'all see that?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, she did the Blood Moon event trailer, and then they got her back again for the AOT trailer, which is so
Period.
fucking cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
They know their people. They know what.
Yeah,
we're
they
doing.
know the audience.
Manifesting Orella is like a focus of this new rift. Ugh, that would be
That'd be
heavenly.
cool. We
really
love
good.
that.
That
Hope
would be really
so.
We would love that. We love Arella at this house.
I
I'm
would
thinking she's gonna be
legit
my next
cry.
P100.
Yes, join the P100.
Join the
Orella
club.
please.
One of us. One of
One
us.
of us.
Oh man.
Darlene is doing her next too.
Oh, period. Okay,
Yes.
Darlene.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start
Yeah.
a cult.
It was
Mhm.
like, without a doubt, the one I wanted to P100 after Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
She is. And she has so many like good cosmetics too. And,
Honestly,
like, I
her
can't wait to see what else
hairs-
they'll give her.
Her hair's this
Yeah.
Blood Moon one.
Mm-hmm.
Her crop top. Like, she's just iconic. She's so cute.
Yes, the one they did for charity too.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh,
She's my she's my birthday twin. She was released on the same day as my birthday. So
Really? Okay.
Ooh.
period.
No
doubt. So
Must be
Yes.
nice. Must be nice.
I know. We are sisters through and through, her and I.
Let me know when you have room, but only if someone leaves. You were rotating next match. Don't make someone rotate out. I'm not making anyone rotate out. I'm promising everyone 2 games.
Vox said, kick Momo out now.
Fox said, get that.
Yes, my favorite
No,
map.
don't make someone rotate out. Why? I'm not making anyone. Everyone knows the drill. Everyone gets a chance to play. But we won't like we'll just like keep people in.
It's a ghost face.
Oh, we love
Ooh.
that.
No, it's not. It's a skull merchant.
Oh,
Is it really?
Ooh.
It looks like a ghost face from the aura.
Oh, that
it
yeah,
is.
that's a baddie.
She's in her pumpkin outfit that has the like little
Oh.
frillies on it.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was confused.
Momo is your main
Kylie
B
always
though.
works
You gotta
like
always
Brandon
have space
Door.
for her. We love Momo, but Momo said they can only play one. Wait, Momo, can you only play one?
I'm coming towards this lit up Jen. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
If it gets to a hatch match, there's a dull key down in the basement. FYI.
Okay. I'm going back to the Jen.
Oh yeah.
Undetectable. Interesting.
Oh shit.
She got quieter on the gen, but also around her drone, a broken drone.
Yeah, I broke her drone and the radius is.
Oh, make your choice. Well, that's not.
So she's nasty.
I'm always gonna choose my friend.
Oh fuck.
Let's go. We got this. That gen is almost done too. Oh my god,
Press
just
till
so
the
much,
end.
so much regression. Friends and make your choice is nasty. Oh, Jam, she wants me. Oh, she doesn't want me.
She wants
But
my
girl,
clothes.
I'm exposed, girl.
She forgot her build.
Oh. Wait, please, Momo. I'm gonna get you after I finish this.
You're good.
Coming. Perfect timing. She knows I'm
Ooh,
here.
but she's slugging. Yeah.
I can go for it.
Oh, I could have got the save! Oh, that would have been iconic. No, I'm here, I'm here. Get Momo off. Let's go. Dude!
Did you
I
see
can't
that?
do it. I got exposed. I can't stay near
I
you.
got exposed too.
She's heading back towards the hook.
Yeah, we ran. I ran.
Maybe she comes from me? Yeah. She's looking for me.
I can get saved.
She's going toward main.
Shh. Then I'm gonna leave you on hook for a second.
Yeah, that's
I'm
really
going.
good.
I'm going to
Yeah.
get. I'm going towards hook as well. Just.
Yeah, she's
Oh my
going-
god.
She's going towards hook. She's over here.
She's on me. I took her away from hook.
W.
I got scared. She scared the shit out of me. I thought she went around the other way. I couldn't hear her. She's quiet. She's a quiet killer. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
like
she's
you don't
so
hear her
quiet.
walk at all. Take chance to unhook.
Don't do it.
Do I try it? Don't do it, little girl.
Did someone
Just
bring
don't.
luck?
Don't do it.
Just don't. I'm exposed.
You can leave. You
I'll
can
go
leave me
first.
on hook for a bit. No need to rush. Jam is on death hook, by the way. I did not know that. Things I did not know.
Things I did not know. Oh fuck! I thought I hit my dead heart, sister.
It's okay. It's okay.
Punch on me.
We're still trying. We're still
Oh.
trying.
She's so fast.
She is.
Zone. Exactly, Ash.
No, Justin.
I'm not gonna lie. I might take a chance. Because I can. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I feel like
Otherwise I
doing it.
Oh my god!
A 4%. My meat is so slippery.
She's in
I don't even have slippery meat.
She's popping off of Maine somewhere.
I am in the back of Maine on the side where Shaq is.
Oh, I see her. She's in the back of she's back at
Oh,
no,
she's on me.
Momo. She's on Momo.
I'm
with you, Momo.
going down.
It's okay, Momo.
Where are
It's
you?
okay,
Where are
Momo.
you?
I'm with Momo.
No, it's okay. We'll do our best. Oh, I'm a flop. I'm a flop. I'm a flop. I flopped so hard. It's okay. Let me go. Let me die. No, Justin.
I almost got the wig lip off too.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
How,
I did
it
not
was
realize
not worth it for me, guys.
I was exposed.
Did you say you're with
shit.
my baby Momo? Leave her alone. I know.
Well, I'm about to scream. Shit.
I just need to be
Dude, this
tickled.
outfit's so cute.
You might just have to go for the hook. Oh, she sees you, or she just sees you.
Like, why are you there? Hello.
Oh, GG. Good try.
Come on, 4%. No.
It worked for me. The GG's. Yeah, I'm gonna let her play with the little robot.
GG's.
GG's.
Thank you again for the games. They were
Well, thank
fun.
you guys for
Yes,
playing.
thank you.
I like that you guys want to play with me. Join back up.
Of
Yeah, don't be afraid
course.
to join back up if I have a spot.
We love you, Justin.
Yes.
Guys, I love you guys too.
Bye, besties.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Vox, is it your turn? Vox, we're calling Vox in. Also, Star and Jam, you guys are more than welcome to join us. It's really in chat. Also, Momo, maybe I just misunderstood it. Including my Momo, yeah, I want. No, babies, I'm giving other people chances. Yeah, of course, but come play. Vox, we never get to play. You're also one of the people that needs a chance. I can join back. Yeah. Come join back in. There's tons of spots, tons of time. Yeah, exactly. Everyone gets to play.
I mean, if you want me back so badly.
I know. I can't get enough of you. Yeah, Vox, come play. We're just vibing now at this point. I might even just take the open lobbies things off. We're just chilling. People want to play, they can come in. If not, what?
Mm-hmm.
There's always room for people. I'm coming, baby. Exactly. That's what we want to see.
What was that 90s saying? You really love me. You really do love me.
They love me.
I'm hopping in right now, loading in.
Okay, period. Sounds good.
My name will be Vox this time instead of Girl Gone.
We'll miss her.
Well, Miss Crazy Girl Gone.
Yeah, Momo, if you want to play.
Mama, there's always a spot for you, girl, even if I have to leave, sweetie.
Look at Vox. Listen to the Vox, okay? She said, honey, you can take my spot. Vox and Vox.
Did you say, honey, take my spot, or honey, are you a top?
Never that long. Honey, are you top? Oh, is that so, Momo? Let's talk about it. Is that are those the questions you asked?
Is Jam gonna hop back in?
The stress
Anyone? Yeah, we
is
have a
really
spot
high
open.
on the creepy scale.
Flip that coin. Move that bus.
Move that.
Oh, I just closed the game. Oh, well, GG's, Jam. Thank you so much for the game, though.
Aw.
I appreciated playing with you. It was such a vibe. It was so great to meet you. Cheers to many more games together. Of course. It was a vibe. Oh, get back. Come back.
How come Nancy doesn't have a Hellfire Club shirt? Like, what's going on?
That doesn't make sense. I thought everybody had. Honestly, protect your peace with this game. No, this game is so much fun. I've missed it. Also, Vox, you have to come to my island. Actually, don't come. I ruined my train. I have to fix my train. Okay, let me back in.
Oh.
Mama, I knew you couldn't resist. Not for too long. Come play with me and Vox and Star. I need to get through this OW bottle pass. Oh, are you liking Overwatch? Are you liking Overwatch, Vox? Do you play Overwatch? I think you do. Right, Vox?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize you were. I'm fucking.
No, yeah. I was because Jam said they were playing Overwatch, and I was like, oh wait, Vox plays Overwatch.
Yeah, I was just playing Overwatch right now.
Oh hell
Love
yeah!
Overwatch.
Look at that. I haven't played Overwatch in like a year and a half, maybe. 3 baddies in 1 lobby. I mean, look at the material.
Girls, I had to buy a Hellfire Club shirt for my feelings.
You know what? And that's a real one.
Yes.
Buy a Hellfire Club T-shirt so you know it's real. You know what I mean? Oh, my face is itchy. Also, do I have any tomes to do? Oh, I don't have a tome on. You know what? Let's do a tome. Unlock the hatch with a key. Guys, I have a mission for us. I have a mission. Time to bring it.
Do you like the glasses or no glasses?
On Vox? I mean, on Felix?
Felix?
Wait, I didn't see it with the glasses. Oh, I like without the
Ooh.
glasses.
I like
Actually, the glass is actually pretty cool. I like them both. Sorry, wrong person to ask. Next. Okay, Ryan, thank you. Thank you for the lurk. That challenge is how Nock and I became friends. Well, isn't that beautiful? Let's look for a hatch offering. Okay, I'm bringing. This is a horrible offering. It's common. Are they all common? They come in better colors.
No.
Okay, well then, I guess this is the best it gets.
like in the blood web, and you're like, I need a better color.
No, seriously. Okay, but who needed to do the challenge? Did you both need to do the challenge?
What challenge?
To unlock, I have to escape through or unlock hatch twice.
With a key?
Yeah, so I brought an offering and a key. Try to get it done.
Where's it for?
I
I couldn't see it. It said.
shack.
Okay.
I was gonna say
No,
hatch
just in
like an
case.
idiot.
We all heard it, girl. We all heard it. It's okay.
Like we get it. It's hatch. It's a hatch off.
Just hatch, nothing else.
Yeah. There's nothing like asking the friendly killer to shut the hatch, and they think.
And of course,
that's a
there's
great.
no shack.
Oh, there's no shack, of course. I hate this place.
Ooh. Oh, Huntress.
Oh, it's a huntress. Okay, well maybe she hates this place too.
It's like, this is not a great map for her.
To shut the hatch, and they think you're asking to be worried. Don't we hate a lapse in miscommunication or a lapse in communication?
Oh, she sees me. I'm just holding W at this point. Though.
And the rest is history, Ash, huh? Ooh, I almost missed that. Oh my god, from yawning. It was me, I needed it. And I kept getting stupid killers. And then Nog finally. Aw, we love that. We love that.
I go down here!
No.
Oh.
Box.
Nice run, though.
Oh, I have a key, not a flashlight. What am I doing?
Wait, who just dropped that?
Guys, I thought I had a flashlight. Forgot I brought a stupid key. Literally, love Nog. I mean, what's not to love? He has
Who
the
just
best
dropped that
emote.
pallet in front of me?
That wasn't me.
Ooh, is she coming back?
Yeah, she's coming back.
Oh, interesting.
Leave me on hook for a little bit.
I reassured, so he's got time.
I'm gonna start this gen then. Over here.
Not too much, Diva.
Love my knock. Oh.
Bring her away and I will get safe.
She's coming back.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
shoot,
got her
why is she
hit on me.
camping?
Come on, Diva, come get your second
How does
down.
she know you're right
Come
there?
She has aura reading with the blockers.
on.
It's a good perk to run on her.
It really is, though.
I'll get you.
Here, let me heal you.
Ooh, she's gonna come back.
Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
Oh, she's committed to
taking her away.
Star. Yeah, I'm watching. Oh, you got her throw her axe. You can loop closer to me if you want, Star as well. Oh no.
It's
She got
okay.
good with access. She had to M1 me.
Mhm.
She keeps going through the window.
Oh.
Oh, I might go in basement.
Oh. Incredible, incredible. I'm not gonna stay too close, right? Because she can read auras, right?
Run, Momo, run!
Oh shit.
Okay, I'm going for a hook.
Yeah, girl, see how bad she is with her fucking...
I'll go for just for star.
She's going back.
Why is she going back? Come here, Vox. Where are you?
Where you at?
I can hear you. I'm right here.
Oh, you were looping with me?
Yeah, yeah. With an accident. I was trying to go for hook, and then I didn't realize you guys were
I
working
thought the
on
door was
generator.
there.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. We both have to go down basement.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna stick this gen.
Oh,
Actually, no, I have to go with you.
Let's finish. Let's
have to
fix
go
it though. Let's finish.
She knows I'm here, though. Girl, get over yourself, sweetie. She went back down.
No way.
Just leave me. Just leave me.
Oh my god, it's a massacre.
No, leave, please, leave. I can pick myself up. Stop. Leave.
No. No. Okay, W Wiglif though, by the way. Okay, wait, she saw me. I'm gonna go.
We can go reset.
I hear you. Here, let me heal you. Oh, or not. You sure you don't want the heal?
Just finish the gen and leave me in basement.
Why?
Because we're gonna throw the game if you guys try saving me, so just do the gen and leave me.
I can still afford a hook. I
She's
still have
here.
a hook.
No, just please, just do the gen and because we'll throw the game otherwise. She's like literally in
Okay.
on the top of the stairs.
We'll heal, find a gen.
I mean, if you reassure me, you get more time. So if you like want to run
Yeah,
by
so
me,
somebody
reassure
can
me.
run by.
Oh, she's here. I can I think I'm the only one with reassurance, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think you can be
Why
on top
doesn't-
of me though, right?
I can't, it's too deep in the basement.
Oh, fuck.
It sucks. For whatever
Go
reason,
Star.
reassurance doesn't work for Oh,
Go,
Star!
Star, go. No! Run back,
No,
run back, Star, run back!
Star!
Do it. Go.
Here, I'll heal with Vox.
I heard her grab a hatchet, so I tried to run for it, but she also, I think, has that on where she can grab them quicker.
No!
God, she's bad. No wonder she had a tunnel.
Let's just go.
She went back.
Go.
Let's just go far away from that basement.
I'm sticking the gen.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
guys
try
can-
another one.
It's
You
fine.
guys can heal.
I
if
can
you
afford
wanna
I can
heal.
afford a hook. Oh, she left me. Oh my god.
She's coming for
Is
me,
she
so if you guys want to get
Mickey, welcome in. How are you?
Hi, Mickey.
How you doing, Mickey? We're just gaming with
That's my
homies.
twins.
Oh, and you know what? That's on.
Oh, gotta go down here.
Oh.
There's no party here!
Vox!
It's like it's real life.
Literally. Hi, how are the games going? Honestly, it's been a mixed bag, but I think all of them have been fun overall.
Oh my god, every pallet's dropped!
Vox is crashing out!
God, you guys dropped all these fucking pallets.
I didn't take any chases. I don't know what you're talking about. It's probably you.
It was not me.
You took every chase, friend.
I like how she committed to me though.
Girl. Miss me.
Stick that Jen, Momo. Stick that Jen.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
You gotta
Oh,
try
she's
and cut us
cutting. She's
off.
cutting you off. Yep.
She's not good with her hatches, by the way. So. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. See, look, dodge those bitches.
Oh, Momo.
Hey, sister.
All these,
Hi.
all
Honestly,
these
let's work
pallets
on
are
this.
going.
Good luck, you guys.
Okay, but I have a hatch.
You know what? Let me
offering,
heal you.
know, let's,
Let me
maybe
heal
it
you,
just,
and then
maybe it
I'm-
just spawns
I'm gonna
me or
get
the
you
basement.
hatch.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, this might be where you get your thing.
You need to go.
Oh.
You need to go. Oh, she's coming for you, sister. No, I want you to get hatch.
Well,
Oh shit.
it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, Justin, you hadn't
Jeez.
been hooked.
No, that's why I was trying to take hooks, and then she wouldn't take the chase with me, and she kept going after y'all. So I didn't. So I was doing the jet.
She was going after anyone who was doing a jam beat. I'm just kidding. Oh,
Girl,
yeah.
I was on the gens.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm giving you shit.
How are you doing gens if you're the one getting killed? Love you too, random citizen. Knock, how are you doing today? How's your night going? Get any games in? Guys, it's a wrap. I'll let her play with the bots. GG's. Good try, guys.
She didn't deserve that win.
No, we deserved better. We deserved it. We deserved to get out. We were rushing those gens.
I mean, we would have
Mhm.
finished though. It was the basement hook that kind of fucked us.
Yeah.
Because then she kept going back.
Unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
And of course, the one time I'm running my no slug build, she doesn't slug me. She leaves everyone else. You guys- She's like, let me pick up the Felix. Fuck the Felix.
Well, we're manifesting an outdoor map with a shack.
With a
so that
shack.
we
We
can
got
get
this.
hatch.
Please. Give it to me, Rachel.
Rachel Huzo.
I don't know what the video is referring to. Maybe I think Rachel's the daughter?
Oh, I can
Show it to me, Rachel. Give it to me, please.
Show me to me, Rachel. Guys, we're getting sleepy.
Mhm.
Uh-oh, girl, it's early.
I know.
It's only 7 o'clock.
I might switch over
It's
to
10:30 for me.
Pokopia and be cozy for the rest of the stream. Like in a little bit.
It's 10:30.
Ready for me too.
It's 9:30. It is a little late.
You're East Coast as well, Star?
I am.
Okay.
W East Coast baddie.
I'm there in spirit. Those were the days. Which is crazy because I'm still like on East servers for most of the games
Oh, that's why she
Yeah.
was able to hit me through window.
I play. I'm sorry.
I'm like, that makes sense now.
What are you working on in Pokopia right now, Justin?
Let's see. So, naturally, I had to destroy everything. No, I'm just kidding. I expanded my train, and I'm creating a like hot spring cave situation.
Bathhouse.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
A bathhouse, yeah.
And we're having the train pass through there. So I'm expanding
Cool.
the train, and I expanded like a few bridges, and we have an idea for. So now we're gonna have 2 trains instead of 1 because I do too much, and I'm team too much. You know what I mean? And so we had to literally rearrange all of the trains, which is why Vox, you have to still wait to come. visit.
Oh.
I brought my brother, but it wasn't done. No, because it doesn't go around in a circle yet.
I mean, I'm okay with just writing it in one place, you know?
You're like, I'll just write it back and forth, you know? In place.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I'm
Train
excited
goes
to
one
see
way.
though.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see what you've got going so far because that
Yeah, I
sounds
think
so
I'm
cute.
gonna. I'll play that at the end stream for a little bit. Ooh,
It would be cute if the Pokemon can ride the train as well.
they literally can. Wait, Momo.
They can?
They
No
can do
way.
it autonomously. They
Yeah.
do it by themselves. Momo, when I tell you I saw a Pokemon zoom across my screen, and I was like, wait, what the hell is
Shut
that?
up! They're like, baby, I'm on a mission today.
It was
I
little
got places to
Pichu.
be."
Like Pichu was zooming, and I was like,
Aw,
honey girl, this is a
baby.
train. Like, get off the train.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. Wow,
It
I
was so
love this
funny.
game.
I loved it. I loved seeing it. So I was like, look, now it's not for no reason that I'm making this train. Like, they can actually use it to get around. Like, that's kind of fun.
I love that. They got their little errands to run. They got
No,
places to be.
literally.
They got
They have-
appointments to go to.
They have people to see and talk to.
They can't be late.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
wait,
no, it's my
what?
man, y'all. It's my man.
I didn't know he had that.
Tell your
That
man
Yeah,
add
it's an
on?
add-on. Yeah, it is.
My man, my man, my
He's
man.
here.
Oh, I see him. Oh, he's naked.
He's chasing me.
No, Vox.
No, I like to be chased first.
Remember the mission, guys. Hatch a shack.
Yes, sir. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
He clogged my teeth.
Oh, but we all reset.
He holds his power. Oh my god. I hate that. Well, I flopped.
Oh, he's gonna come right the fuck back here.
You cannot run.
He has a hex.
I'll wait to get you in a second.
Take y'all's time. Don't worry about me.
Milk that hook.
I'm just waiting for him to engage in a chase with someone.
He's on me. He hit my gen. He's
coming.
going
you
back
know
to
what? He's
hook.
coming back. I thought you said he was on you, bitch.
He was on me.
It's okay. It's okay. He's going after Momo again.
Momo,
It's okay.
get
Let's
your
see if I can do
man.
better now.
Okay, Henry.
You got this, Momo.
Not too
What-
much on
what
Henry,
hex does he have?
Rosa. Whose side are you on?
It might be hive mind.
Yeah.
Momo, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
I'm gonna come take it
He's
down.
gonna
for you.
M1 me. No, it's okay. Trust.
Oh!
Fuck! He waited out my dead card.
Oh, okay. He respected it. He respected it. He respected it. I'm watching that. He respected
You
it.
saw that?
I did.
Oh.
Unfortunately. I did, unfortunately. I'm on y'all's side. But love a Henry. Oh, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, because we have the same fucking hook.
So, baby, Momo, this hook's got your name written all over it.
wait till he's in chase with someone again.
Oh, I missed a skill check. My bad.
Okay, he's on someone now. I'm coming.
He's on me. I was afraid to say it or you're gonna yell at me again.
I'll do the clock.
Your days are
I was yelling at you for our baby girl Momo, okay? There you go, Momo.
Thank you. Let me come touch a gen. Goddamn.
Oh, WN1. GG's. He's not afraid to hit me. He's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to hit. He
Girl,
won't use his empty ball.
he's gonna come for me.
Try to befriend him. Maybe if you tame him.
I'll try.
Maybe
I'll
if you
try.
tame him. He looks like he's going after Bob.
Yeah.
I'll come for save.
Okay. I'll look for a gen to do.
Star, just stop the regression on this jet first. You honestly can.
I'm gonna go down here because he M1 me. He's gonna M1 me again. He's so bad with his power.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't realize you were
Oh,
hook
no.
over there. I'm sorry.
I'm coming, Justin. At least I can reassure you.
Ooh, Star, you're just an icon, friend. Like, Star's just better.
Truly.
Like, literally.
Momo, don't go down for me, please.
Dodge Master Flex over here.
I have Wigliff though. Oh, he picked you up.
He's going back to hook.
Yeah, for sure.
Here, just come get
He
me.
sees
so I
you.
can
He sees you,
make
Momo.
chase.
Hilo. Oh.
Oh, why is he doing this? What are we doing?
Go, girl.
I'm ready.
Oh, I tried to take it for you.
No, it's okay.
Fox.
He was not a fan of that.
I'm under a
Are
pellet.
you close enough? Oh my god, yes!
You're an
I thought it would
icon!
be
I
close
wish I was
enough.
there! I thought I was there.
You're so cute, Justin. No!
Where are you, Justin?
I'm right here. Here, let me heal you.
Right in front of my face.
Oh,
No,
No, he's going
no,
around.
no.
Fuck.
fine.
Why don't they ever slug me, dude? Like,
I don't think he wants to kill Momo just yet.
No, he does.
Does he actually? Okay. I wasn't sure what that interaction
Fuck, it was right on the
like.
tip.
Oh.
No way, I'm here. Watch out. Hey, I'll try not to.
No, you can. I have no hooks. You can
No, it's
fully
okay.
run into me.
Oh, nope.
I'm gonna take hits.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm coming,
Oh,
Vox.
he won't chase me.
He wants me.
I'm coming, Momo. I'm coming.
I dead hard his M2.
Momo, I'm coming. No, wait, Vox, let me take this.
He's after you still, Momo.
I'm getting on the clock. Someone has to get on the clock.
I lost
I'm
Momo.
holding W. It's okay, I'm holding W. Just do a gen or something, it's okay. If I go down, I go down.
That's fine.
No!
It's okay. It's okay. I can afford it.
Thank you. I'm gonna sit on this gen all the way in the
Oh,
back
good
by
try,
the
Star.
tractor.
Good hustle. Good hustle. Star, you're so skinny. You just avoid all of that. You just avoid all the M2s.
I'll get you in a second. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
go
finish this
ahead.
gen.
Go ahead. Yep. Star can't get a hook even if she tried.
Literally.
He will not go after her.
I'm close to Justin. I'll get him.
I got it.
Oh, okay.
You got me.
You guys are both here.
We can both double heal here.
Awesome.
I didn't know who was getting healed. I wasn't even gonna fight. We don't have time.
You're the best.
Alright.
Thank you. He's gonna come right back
I
here.
know.
Yeah, he's going straight for you guys.
Hey, Diva.
Hi, Star. Here.
Hi.
He's going back to hook.
It's not Momo though.
Let him.
Oh no.
I'm gonna stick this Shen in mid then.
Come get me, sir.
Oh, he wants me.
He wants Justin. Okay.
He wants that justice girl.
Mm-hmm.
He left me. He went into his butt.
He's on me.
No, Momo.
Fuck. Oh,
No.
yes, I escaped it. It's okay.
I want you to stop.
Fuck.
Hey, Star. Should I heal you?
Hi.
I heal you.
Shit.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go do that phone.
Mm-hmm.
No, Momo. Momo's about to get his world rocked.
No, don't get worried, Momo.
Oh, I fear. I fear it's too late.
I have a fear and a fright, y'all.
Guys, I think it's too
It's
late.
okay. I'm doing it. Don't worry. Lock in. He better not M1 me, I swear to God. He M1 me! Brother, lock in.
Oh, I found bones. What are these bones?
Oh,
What gen are you guys
he's being
doing?
silly goofy.
By door.
Doing the one
Yep,
by
you're
the
running in that
door
way. You're
by
running in that way.
the
Okay.
Tractor. If you want to just get ready to do the door, that's fine.
GG's, y'all.
GG's, Momo. You tried.
You carried.
It's okay.
I'm not even
I
gonna
like
try
going
to do
against
the
him,
hatch.
so-
I'm just gonna walk away. He's scary. Rip in peace, Momo.
How do you miss me at the door, bitch? This is for Momo! This is for Momo!
Live to tell my story, please.
It's okay, Momo. That was for you. Pour one out for Momo.
Yeah, you tell him off, Fox.
Pour one out for Momo.
Period. We got a 3 out. I'm happy with that. We're satisfied.
We are.
Oh, he's going for his adept. Oh, poor guy.
Sorry.
He said, let me just get my 1K then.
Star, where are you going?
That's my last game.
No! I'm gonna cry.
I'm
GG Star.
GG Star.
Thank you for playing.
Jeez, thank you. For
I'm
the
trying to be like you.
You're the
Oh, you're a
bomb.com.
You are. You're all amazing.
The Stargazer 5000.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on Stargazer. Everyone clap.
Why do I feel like a guinea pig in a maze?
Oh wow, what a great castmate.
Is
I'm
that your
clapping
cheeks
from both
clapping, girl?
ends.
Huh?
Is that your cheeks clapping?
Oh, my cheeks. Oh my god. Mickey,
Clap, girl,
Mickey,
clap.
if you want to play, be honest. Come play with us. We have a spot open.
Yes. Join, join, join.
If it's cool, yeah, I'll join. Yeah, come play. Or Monte. Monte can play too.
Monte can have my spot too.
Momo, thank you, Momo.
Monte can
Of
have my spot
course.
here.
Oh my! Everyone fighting
No,
for
you stay.
fighting.
I left first.
I
I left
left
first.
here. You go, baby. You stay. You stay.
Okay,
No,
the
I
girls are
left already,
fighting.
Monte.
The girls are fighting.
No, Vox, stay in there. I already left. Vox,
I
stay
Monte,
closed
you
the
got them
game.
fighting
I
over you,
closed the game.
friend.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. I closed the game. Ask Justin. He can't
Vox,
see me.
keep your ass in there. You need to get your build value. Get in there, get slugs,
Monte,
and
you
then
got
get
the girls
yourself
fighting. No, wait, no, I don't want to kick anyone out. Well, no one's getting kicked
Bye.
out.
Thank you
The
for
lobbies
the
are
games,
open.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, babies.
up. Bye. I'm leaving. Bye.
I love when
Bye.
trade fights over me.
No, Vox. Oh my God.
Momo,
Vox.
play with us, please. Come on. Play with
Vox,
me
when
and
I
Monte
catch
and
you.
Mickey. Vox, thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you for your worthy sacrifice. I have to bring you
Thank
to
you,
my Pokopia
Vox.
Island soon. Let's get Momo in here and Monte. I'm launching. And Miggy. Look at that. And we'll wrap up with y'all. We'll play a few games. And then I'll switch over to Pokopia. I always leave for my mom. Yeah, exactly. When Momo's around, everyone gets up from their chair. We're like, pick your seat.
Please, not too much on me, guys.
Thank you, Kitty. Yeah, exactly. Fox, you're the best. Hi, Monte. Monte, come into the VC. Monte said no. Oh yeah, wait. Let's wait for me. Hi, Monte.
Well, yeah.
Oh, getting my Monte fix.
Hi, Monte.
Hi. What's tea?
What tea? How's beef?
I just finished the whole season and it was so good.
The whole season came out already. Was it like a hard
Yeah.
launch?
Yeah.
Didn't install that
It was so
episode.
good.
There's a new season?
Came out.
Right? Like this week? Last week?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the way I forgot about that show. I gotta
Mhm.
watch it.
It's really, really, really good.
I really need
Season
to see
2?
it.
Okay. Because season 1 was so good. I completely forgot about it.
But it's been some time between them, right? Between
Yeah.
Yeah, like 3-4 years.
it's crazy.
And it's a whole different
Mhm.
story.
Oh, like
But
is
it's
it
only
like a
8
new cast of
episodes.
a new cast of characters or like
Yeah.
that's cool.
No way. Okay.
Really
That's
good.
interesting.
Really good. It's really good. And I
Okay.
say it's better than season 1.
Oh,
Noted.
okay. Iggy, if you
Like,
want to join the
good.
VC, we're in my Discord VC. If you want. No pressure though. No pressure. We're just gonna be yapping. Excuse me. We still have to get the hatch at Shack.
True.
I have to keep reminding myself because I want to get the tome. Hi, Wolfie. Welcome in.
Hi,
How you
Wolfie.
doing? There you go, Mickey. Exactly.
Hi, Miggy.
What's up?
You know, not much. How you doing, Wolfie?
Have y'all been escaping?
You know, about that, we did escape last match. Except for Marvel.
You know what? I put up a fight for you guys.
And then a Huntress whooped our ass when she wasn't supposed to. We had a few good killers.
Why are these queue times so long? What the hell?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not
3
3
minutes is crazy.
Let's keep complaining. The more we complain, the faster it changes. It always
True.
happens that way. How are the matches going? I'm having fun. But this is gonna be our last Little Swift here. Maybe like 2 or 3 games. And then I'm gonna play Pokopia to end stream. And just hang out for a little bit before I go to bed. How are you doing, Wolfie? How's your weekend? Plus, apparently, I have to watch Beef. So
Oh yes. I also need to watch Euphoria after this.
oh God, I watched the first episode and
Don't say shit.
I regret it. I
Really?
don't.
It cannot be that bad.
It's just dumb. The only good part about the episode is the end. Literally. And not even, it's not like shady because it's over. It's more like whatever happens at the end. It's like probably like most exciting part. Everything else kind of sucks.
Damn.
That's how I feel. I also feel like it's been so long. I just have a lot of questions. But I guess the whole point is to watch the season so that you can get this. If he does answer.
Damn.
I mean, it is what it is too. You know? Like, I'm still gonna watch to see what happens. Wolfie, did you have a good weekend? Did you have a good weekend, Wolfie? Be honest. Yeah, let's get in this match already.
And you will get this hatch.
Oh, trust. If it's the
Well,
last
the worst
thing I
part is
do.
you gotta wait for the killer to find it, close it, and then hide so that you can go and reopen it.
Oh, you're so right.
You got this. You got this.
Maybe we'll make friends with the killer and I'll just wave them on and I'll try to point at it. Monte is the sacrifice? No. No, Monte is the hero, okay? That's why Monte's here. Monte's here to save everyone.
Exactly.
Wolfie, we were playing with Vox too. Vox was also carrying. Oh, I thought Momo was the hero. No, Momo was the damsel in distress. As we've learned so much today.
I am the sacrifice. I distract and I sacrifice myself.
Miss Momo over here, she's the bait.
She's a miscongeniality over here.
Yes, yeah. I have a bad feeling about this.
Where's the box? Oh my god! Fuck, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, same.
Does he have that add-on where we can't see the box?
That's why
unless we're
Vox
right in
left
front
me.
of it?
Oh, so Vox, you were playing with Vox. And you didn't want to come play? Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, what's it up there?
He's sweaty.
Oh, he found the box? Fuck.
Exactly, Wolfie. You didn't want to come play with me. Too busy playing with Vox. Guys, I can't do anything. They're just chains everywhere.
I'll try to go for the box. I see it. Oh fuck.
Almost shaking that peach, distracting the murderer. They were like, yes. Guys, what is going on? I don't know what to do. How do we stop this?
I'm gonna go get the box right now.
Oh, not after Mickey. Not after me. Whoa! Whoa there! I'm going back. Hey, hey, hey! That's so fun. Good try, Mickey. Who you biting? Who you biting, Wolf?
Does he have barbecue? He does, I think.
Oh, Momo, that's not. Oh. No. Well. It's looking like this is the hatch match.
Yeah. Protect Justin.
I just don't want to die. Well.
No.
Well.
No. No.
This is interesting.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's too much.
Okay, I'll go for the box.
I appreciate it.
Oh my god, he knows! He's a knower!
Yeah, he knows where the box is because he went straight for it.
Oh, and he has an Iriad on, I think it is. Like, the hooks injure you. Fuck. He just double tapped me.
Oh, he sees me. Well, damn, he's fast too. Where's the hero? That is crazy, Wolfie. That was so rude.
That is
So
crazy.
nasty and so rude.
Where is your
So
business?
nasty and so rude.
Wolfie, I have new sound alerts. Go play.
Not much time. Next one's on me.
Well, damn.
Have you ever had
He found
Oh
the
my
box
god,
again.
Omar. I'm the hero. He. Here I come. I just.
Was it crispy?
Oh.
Right.
Oh my god. I got distracted, Mickey. I'm sorry. I was reading chat.
Oh, and he has
Good,
Dead Man
Omar.
Switch.
Yeah, that's why we can't do any gens. They just keep corrupting.
Justin, you better go hide.
I need to get to Shaq though.
And he knows where the box is each time. That's crazy. Does he have an add-on where you can see where the box is?
He might, right?
I didn't know that that was an add-on.
Ew, wait.
You know, I'm just gonna die for you. Hey, mister.
Don't unhook me. Just let him kill us.
Is this gonna be a hatch? Let's see if it works. I'm hiding.
Hide in a locker, do something.
Yeah, I'm in a locker right outside of Shaq. Like I can see Shaq. For the best. Omar, how are you doing? I suck at this game. I always die first. It's okay. We all have had that experience. Omar, did you go camping this weekend, right? You can't find me! Alright, let's see. Will he fall for my trap? Harry Monte is a little much. I know. Oh! Now Wolfie. Okay, he found it. Let's see. Can I get away with it?
You got this, you got this.
Hello?
No fucking way. This man knows where everything, everywhere.
No, please!
Oh, no.
Look! Please, look! I have a key! I need it! No! No, 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 no! No! No, please! I need to open that hatch, please! Such a bitch has a movie! Sabao. Sabao. Yeah, Wolfie. Put some respect on Monte's name. I've seen you carry squad. Happy birthday or belated birthday. Wait, Omar, was it your birthday?
Oh.
Happy birthday, Omar.
Oh, yes. You guys went
Happy birthday to
camping. So
Omar.
cute.
Oh, it was for, oh, right. It was for Omar's birthday. That's why they're going camping. And the littlest one. Right? You guys share a birthday or like it's around the same time? I think that's what Ronnie said. And we've seen you carry. Yeah, Monte. Get her, Jade.
Do not tell me what to do. Do you want it? I don't want it. Because you're asking for it. You're dying for it. Get off my back.
Get off my back.
But there are a few new ones. Dying for it. No.
The girls are fighting in chat.
I know. The only thing you carry for me is my purse, mama. The one I carry after your second hook. Oh, yeah. Wolfie. Wolfie, I want to hear you say that in real life, and I need that as a sound word. What is your voice? Which just can never be original. Yeah, you I'm just me eating my popcorn. Damn these cues. Get it together. Oh. Let me put a beat back on. I don't have enough time. Monte. Anyway, Monte, is your name Justin?
Hey. How y'all doing?
Didn't think so. This is history. Wolfie, yeah. Good luck, Justin and Momo. The streak where you
Thank you,
were 3
Wolfie.
hours late too. The stream you ignored exactly. I know, Ryan. That's me too. Yeah, Wolfie, you saw Vox leave and you didn't think to come over here. That's crazy. It's okay, Wolfie. I forgive you.
Ooh, this is not a.
Anyway.
This isn't a good map for Hatch. Who's the killer?
It's Billy? Blight? Blight?
Oh, yeah.
Blight.
Blight. Okay, I fuck with the Blight.
Some big boat. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, that's happening right above me. Alright, Monte, be careful. Oh, love that for me. Can I get out of there? Hi, Kate. Welcome in.
Oh, he has Dragon's Grip.
What'd that mean?
That means when you touch a gen that he kicked, you're exposed
Oh,
for
okay,
a long
bad,
ass
bad,
fucking
bad.
time. Oh my god, he's gonna get me. No, he's not. No, he's not.
If you come upstairs, maybe I can help you. From the boat. How are you doing, Kate? Oh my god, let's go. 11 times? For me? I'm doing well. We've had some really fun games. Stream has been a lot of fun. And we're just gonna wrap up with this crew right here. Play a few more games with them, and then depending on how tired I am, we'll play Pokopia for a little bit as well. Oh, that wasn't very cute. I'm an idiot sandwich, and I knew it was gonna happen too. I just knew it was gonna happen. Just vote. Just vote. I was like, I think he's gonna just go down those stairs, and there he was. Hey Kate, how was your weekend? Oh, Mickey, my hero. No, let's just do it. You can heal me after. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you. It was good. My friends and I went to a Ren fair. Ooh.
Awesome. Thanks.
I'm afraid to touch it.
Yeah, just wait a second.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go for a gun hook.
Sorry, Mickey. Just... Thank you, Miggy. My hero for real.
Sorry, I didn't know y'all were working on that, Jenny.
No, you're good.
I have
you did hard?
Wiglif. I have Wiglif after exposed is done. No.
I have Wycliffe too. Run, sister, run. Yup. And then I'll take out. Oh shit. W.
Oh, he wants me. He wants me. He wants me. He wants me. Justin carried the team. You know, I'm just glad Miggy ended up not taking a hook for me. I literally felt bad about it. Like, oh, Miggy is gonna take the hook for me. Oh, I'm in death hook. Oh. So the thing about it is...
Fuck. Got me through the window.
Thank you, Miggy. Oh, yeah, go.
Coming this way.
I appreciate it.
No.
Run!
I'm gone. I have to get on a gen.
I'll try to take him away. Yep.
Corre, Momo, corre. Oh my god, you scared the shit out of me, Kate. That worked. It worked. Oh, he's just...
Oh, fuck.
I have to get on it. Yeah. Gens are finished? Oh wait, all the gens are over here. I'm dead, I think. No, he just wants, he knows he can kill me. No, he's going after Miggy. Oh my god, Miggy. No. All the gens are on. I truly wanted to know what it was. I literally got scared, so it worked.
Got your best tea. You're getting hatched this game.
Oh, I appreciate you. Oh, but he is coming for my ass. Oh, he saw me. No. Well.
No, Justin.
Well. Oh, Monte, you're so good. I wish I was closer to the pallet. Well.
Recover.
Yeah, recover. I got Wigglyff. I'll come and get you.
No, 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 no.
Oh, he picked. Never mind.
No.
Rest in peace,
So
Diva.
close. It's okay. You guys get out. I have to use the bathroom anyway. I drank too much water. Quick potty break. BRB.
Go piss, girl. Oop.
To a door.
He's in shock with me.
Okay, I'm gonna start doing the door at big
Yeah,
boat.
if you guys can get at the door.
The other door. I'll try to get save if I can.
Oh, the fucking window hit. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. Oh my god. Period. W save.
Oh,
Mickey!
oh
No!
Oh shit.
Oh my god. You totally got out though. What happened? You just didn't make it. That was crazy. I came in right in there for the end. I was eating a cookie.
Well, that would be it for me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up there actually, as well. Thank you for playing. Thank you for the games.
Thanks for the game.
It's fun as always.
Thanks for hanging
Good
out with me.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Of course.
All right, guys. I don't know. Do I want to play Pokopia on stream? I'm actually kind of getting tired. I think I might just end stream here, but maybe if I have time this week, I'll stream during the day. Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe. Do a little mini stream. Do some Pokopia then. I do owe you guys, or owe myself. I have to say it like that because honestly, I really like streaming, so I'm owed a stream, and so I do need to stream again this week, I think. And I might do it like Tuesday or Wednesday. No, Momo, thank you for coming and playing and like staying and hanging out with me all night. This is a lot of fun. I know it's so late for you. Nog, thanks for hanging out. Ryan, W Mod, W Friend. Honestly, already having my withdrawals. Like the fact it just dawned on me. We need to have our duo day, but you're not home. Bandit, thank you for being here and hanging out. Omar, you too. Hammy, thanks everyone for lurking and hanging out and listening to me yap and laugh and be silly. Miggy, thank you for being here and playing. Like Darlene, everybody, like it means so much to me that you all come and hang out with me. I don't know. Let's see who we're gonna raid today. Who should we raid? Are there any friends on? Charlie's on. Charlie. Terry's playing Pocopia. We rated Terry a little bit before. Any friends on? Let's see. Darlene, thanks for being here. Thank you guys for always hanging out with me. This is so much fun. Like streaming has been so much fun, and it's all because I've met you guys and that you guys come and hang out with me. Like otherwise, it wouldn't be as fun, you know. Let's raid to. Let's send some people over um to Charlie. Actually, yeah, let's raid over to Charlie. They're playing Fortnite. Um, Bandit. Knock another with this. Sammy with the 50 biddies. Knock with the 6-7 biddies again. I appreciate you. 6-7. I know. Is it just? Let's go show Charlie some love. They're playing Fortnite. I'll be raiding and running and probably just playing Pocopia off stream. I have a lot of work to do, but also I'm a little tired, so I might make some tea or something and put some YouTube on while I do that. But I appreciate you guys. My hair is a mess after my shower and hair drying. Make sure you copy that message. Show Charlie some love. And I appreciate you guys. Like, stream is only fun because you guys are here and hanging out with me, and I have so much fun with them here, and you guys really make my day. You make it so great to be here. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll probably be streaming Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll make an announcement in the Discord, but yeah, can't wait to talk to you guys later. All right, talk to you later. Bye.